看我们这个昨天跟前天的一个
Sarah
表演
did
赛，你
really,
觉得
really well.
4位
And
解说里面谁
1
是
to
最厉害
1
的，谁是最不
is
厉害
not
的？给我
beyond
们
my
简单的说一下
expectation.
原因吧。
그
So,
첫 번째
did you
경기랑
watch
두 번째
yesterday's
경기를 쇼매치를
exhibition?
진행하셨잖아요.
And
4명의
who do you
해설자분들이
think is the
쇼매치를
best and
하셨는데
who
4명
is the
해설진
weakest among
중에서
4 of
제일
our commentators and
강한
why?
해설자랑 제일 약하다고 생각하는 분이 어떤 분인지 혹시 얘기해 주실 수 있을까요?
아 근데 그걸 안 봐가지고 결과를 몰라서 일단 그래도 핑크 형이 제일 잘하지 않을까요? 못하는 잘 모르겠네요. 안 봐가지고.
首先的话，其实表演赛我没有看，所以不知道具体的结果是什么样子的。但我觉得最强的应该就是我们队的 CranKy 选手，然后最差的话，因为没有看比赛就不好评价了。
好的，如果有机会的话，可以去看一下那个表演赛的一个录像啊，还是非常的精彩的。那最后一个问题就是，你马上决赛要迎阵到的队伍 TL， 他们是从第一天冒泡赛第一轮直接一路杀上来，并且像 Clam 选手他的一个状态非常非常好，马上就要面对他们了，有信心吗？
So,
지금 다음 경기는 팀
are you feeling
리퀴드 상대로
confident
지금 준비하고 있는데 요즘 팀 리퀴드
versus
팀에서도
Team Liquid, which who
랑깨기로
is the team
한 라운드 한
that's
라운드 올라갔잖아요.
winning
그리고
from the
클램
bottom?
선수가 요즘
It is really
플레이하는
a dark
폼도
horse
좋고
team.
하는데
They
지금
keep winning. They kept
결승 임하면서 같은
a
한마디
terrifying winning streak.
클레어 선수 너무 잘해가지고 그냥 재밌을 것 같은데 저희 팀의 동원이 형이 클레어 선수 2대0으로 이겼었거든요. 그래서 믿고 열심히 하겠습니다.
就是 Clam 选手的话是非常的强，想必接下来的决赛应该是很精彩的。但是我们队的亮选手的话，之前是有2-0赢过Clam 的，所以我相信我的队友会打好。
好的，也是非常的有信心，我们也是期待你们双方给我们呈现一场非常非常精彩的总决赛。那也是感谢马如选手接受到我们的采访，好好准备比赛吧。
And we believe that
일단
the finals
인터뷰
will be
임해주셔서
really, really good to
감사하시고
watch.
멋진 경기 준비해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
아, 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Okay, that's all for the interview. Thank you.
好的，我们的大战一触即发，把画面交给我们最专业的解说席。
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We apologize for the stream going down. Did end up losing half of our viewers, but thank you so much, everyone who did stick around. Again, we apologize. It did take us a little bit to realize what was happening, but the stream is back, and we should be good to go for the remainder of the broadcast. Again, we're basically halfway through the night. We just wrapped up with Team Liquid versus Team Basilisk, and now we are here with Onside versus Team Liquid. Here we go. Again, Clem already doing so well for himself, fighting back for his team, being clearly the MVP for Team Liquid, but now he's up against Onside. And fun fact, I was streaming earlier today, and I was being asked, like, oh, by a lot of people actually, they were like, oh, like, do you think Team Liquid can like have a really deep run today? Like, what do you think's gonna happen? I was like, I'm pretty sure they can beat Basilisk. Like, I favored Team Liquid over Basilisk, but I was worried about Team Liquid over Onside. Before today, here in the playoffs, the only players that had beaten Clem were Terran players, and Basilisk didn't have a Terran. So I'm like, Clem is going to be favored against everyone there. His weakest matchup is TVT, and Onside have two. They have Maru and Ryung. Two big TVT snipers. Like, even Ryung actually defeated Clem recently in WTL as well, and he does pose a threat. Like, these TVT matchups are something that Clem has been struggling a little bit with, and it is what he has to really show up. What I will say, though, when it comes to the TVT matchup, Clem isn't on his own. He did have to carry hard against Basilisk. That is true. Clem had to carry. But here, I think against Onside, this is where Cure can thrive. This is where Cure can really step up as, in a way, kind of like the right-hand man of Clem in Team Liquid. And I do think that Cure does have really good TVT, arguably better TVT than Maru, unironically. Like, Cure, his Terran versus Terran is terrifying. So I do think that he can come in really strong to help deal with players of the likes of Maru and Ryung. And when it comes to Zerg, when it comes to Solar, I think Clem is favored there. I think Clem, he wants the Zerg player. When it comes to the Terrans, that's where Cure has to step in. So we'll see. We'll see how the dynamic works. We'll see which players get fielded first here by Onside and Team Liquid. Like, who's going to be fielded first? I feel like this is going to be a really big part of how this Team League match is going to work. And of course, I cannot gloss over a laser. A laser is a part of this too. And I know that we were having some fun, and Mana was having fun with the winners interview yesterday. I was talking about how, like, oh no, yeah, a laser, you know, he's there. He's he's what did they say? He was like, oh, he was tanking some games, you know. He was a present, essentially, and hopefully he can really show off a little bit more here tonight against Onside. Hope the laser can claim his first win. And here we go. It's time for the prediction, Cat. Let's go. Prediction, Pat. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be, Pat? Nobody has ever been favored against Serral in 6 years. That's not true. Solar is favored against Serral. Oh! It's Onside. He's gone for Onside. Let's go. All right, who do we have? We have the Prediction Cats. We have XY, Crank, and Xiaose going for Onside. Everyone else for Team Liquid. Everyone else on that Team Liquid hype train. Let's go. Okay, I do like that there's some deviation here. I do appreciate that there are some lines have been drawn between some of our casters and some of our members here, our community members. Do appreciate it. But yeah, I would say, especially this most recent year, oh, we have our starting players. It's gonna be Solar versus a laser in a ZVZ. But yeah, I would 100% say that in 2023, Solar was definitely favored against Serral. Like, I'm pretty sure he had a winning record against him, especially in the later half of the year. But yeah, regardless, we are getting into this series instead. A ZVZ Solar, of course, the Serral sniper, gonna be going up against a laser. Now, just because Solar is favored against Serral doesn't mean he's favored against all Zerg players. This could still go back and forth. Could still go either way. And we cannot forget about a laser, as again, he is here to prove himself for his team, for Team Liquid. Let's go. Let us go. The laser comes out swinging again. Yeah. I'm ready for it, as we have our ZVZ before us.
Versus Team Liquid. Game 1. Let's start the game.
Has the cat ever been wrong yet? Cats are never wrong. Copium. What do you mean? No copium. Cat's always correct, Papi. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have, for Onside, Solar. And in the top right, ooh, going for a 12 pool on Solaris, we have for Team Liquid, a laser. Let's go. Hello, welcome to Danskik. Dzień dobry, Papi. Siema. Let us go. So it's going to be a 12 pool here from a laser. Going to be whipping out with aggression. Now, 12 pools don't have to be all in, but there are variations where you pull the boys, where you do pull your workers, send everything across the map, and do bring it all to the table here, all on the line against Solar. We'll see if it's just going to be a regular 12 pool or the all-in variation. For now, it's looking like we should be working on an expansion behind this. Meanwhile, back at home, Solar going for a standard opener, going for a hatch gas pool. Let's start the game. Let's go. And there we go. It's the all-in variation. We're pulling the boys. It's all or nothing here. It's all or nothing for a laser. One way or the other. The game will end. Either a laser kills Solar or he dies trying. And we do scouts. The Overlord does spot the drones, does spot the boys being pulled. Solar preemptively checking for any spine crawlers. And he will soon have to set up his own. Likewise, he's going to be canceling his low ground hatchery, I imagine, just so he has resources to throw down his own spine crawlers. The drones that go straight for the main base. Spines are on the way. Spine crawlers are in production. Solar not canceling his hatchery, by the way. I think that's a bit of a risky maneuver here. You can see Solar just drone drilling in the main base, preserving his drones, waiting for his lings and queens to pop out. And is he going to evacuate? It looks like he wants to... he wants to dive. I'm not too sure about this. The Lings, they have arrived. Good stacking there from Solar. Lings are pushing in. Queens are on the way, but the Spine Crawlers are going to finish. Spine Crawlers will finish. Maybe we can deny one of them, but the others will complete. Yeah, the Spine Crawler's going ham here on these drones. One Spine Crawler does fall. And Solar, he has to pull back. He's down to 9 drones. A laser gaining some ground here, but he gets us around on another Spine. The Queen does come forward. Solar still on 9 workers. Lings are putting a lot of work, and it looks like, oh, a laser, he is running out of steam. The Spine Crawler is going to be going down. Oh, but the Queen as well. The Queen falls. We're 6 on 6. GG gets called, and a laser. He will take game number 1. We'll take down Solar. And again, so greedy here for Solar not to cancel his hatchery, by the way. So traditionally in your defense, you cancel your hatchery and you get a refund. You get your 300 minerals back, or close enough. And that means with that extra money, you can throw down Spine Crawlers of your own, and of course have that much more to defend. Solar, so risky, so greedy to allow that hatchery to finish and to just go for a head-to-head fight instead. And a laser does it. He pops off. He takes game 1 against Solar. A laser wins his first game of the playoffs. GG. Clem wasn't even there. Clem wasn't even watching. Clem doesn't even know, Papi. He's off on his own. He's getting some food in the bathroom. Cure was happy though. I appreciate Cure. He had a big smile on his face. He's like, yes, kill the Zerg. Kill your own kind. Do it, Papi. And again, Solar, it looked to be overconfidence. It looked a little bit overconfident there from Solar for that defense. He was punished for it. And just like that, a laser accomplished something that Cyril could not. A laser could take a game off of Solar. Cyril should take notes. Let's go. Let us go as we are getting ready for game number 2. It's going to be Solar's map of choice. It is going to be Oceanborn. Kira was laughing. He liked it, Papi. He liked it. Let's go. Liquid OP, Papi, OP. And here we go. We're diving into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have the blue Zerg player representing onside. It is Solar. And in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Polish Zerg player representing Team Liquid. Already taking a game here in this series, it is a laser. And a laser, he's already done more than enough. He's already done more than enough for himself. Big shout out to the sponsors, of course. Shout out to Doyu, Honkai Star, Tidal, Autofull, and that new sponsor that I have no idea what it is. But there's a sponsor there. It's like something Chronicles. Is it? Can you read that, Kura? Can you? It's like Aurora, Odori. I don't.
Isn't it like Adora Cruise or something?
Adora Cruise? Yo, are we winning a cruise if we win? Let's go. So we may have lost Rio de Janeiro as a sponsor from the summer season, but we have earned ourselves a cruise. And that is where the real champions at this point. Let's go. WTL champions, they get a cruise confirmed. We'll see. We shall see, as we do have a laser going for a standard opener. It's going to be a hatch gas pool from our red Zerg player. Meanwhile, Solar sipping on his coffee, getting into his own hatch gas pool as well. And I don't know if you saw the player cams with Solar. He is definitely taking this seriously. He is upset about what just happened in game 1. He does not like it, and he is looking to fight back hard. Here we go. Now, as we load into Oceanborn, a big feature of this map is the short rush distance. We have seen a lot of aggression on this map, not just that, but the lack of course, points of elevation to protect your third base and to protect your natural. It can be very difficult to defend against roach-based pushes here on this map. Cutting workers early on and going for big aggression is very much so a part of Oceanborn's ZBZ. So we'll keep our eye on the players, we'll keep our eye on the drone count, and see if Solar or Laser wants to be aggressive. For now, we're droning. For now, standard openers, hatch gas pool, everything is looking normal. A battle cruise? You're an animal, pal. Oh god. They win a battle cruiser? Is that what's happening? Oh. Ay. As here we go, Lings are going to be moving on out. Getting a read on the opener, getting eyes on the third base. Again, pretty standard stuff. Solo going for a bit of an earlier Baneling Nest here. Likewise, Baneling Nest on the way from a laser. So no one is skipping their Baneling Nest. No one is rushing into Roaches. Everyone is opening up standard. Third base followed by Baneling Nest. We should be joining from here. We'll see if either one of our players wants to make an abundance of Lings to be aggressive, to be active on the map. We'll see if either one wants to be assertive. As for now, we are droning. And now we are just saturating our bases. Again, we're just pointing out the amount of Lings that we have available. We have 10 Lings in production for both players. So both players are making a surge of Lings. And we can be aggressive. Here we go. Solo going to be applying some pressure to the third base of a laser. Meanwhile, Solo is droning behind this. It's not all in by any means. It's just, you know, a bit of a poke, a bit of a prod. Testing the waters. Testing the waters here. As a laser is going to be forcing this back. Banelings, they have arrived. We're diving on top of the Queens. But we have defensive Banelings, and a laser will zone Solar away. Behind this, Solar has already started up his Roach Warren. Roach Warren has begun. We are droning. Likewise, Roach Warren not too far behind for a laser either. And we are just working on that next step. So far, still dancing with each other. These Queens looking a little bit exposed. If they ever do overextend, Solo would love to swallow them up. But they do pull back. They do pull back. And from here, it looks like things will be settling down. They will be settling down with just droning. We have additional Roach production on the way from Solar, but it looks like only a handful of Roaches just to be assertive and maybe force an overreaction, because Solar is still just droning. I wouldn't be surprised if he even reveals his Roaches to his opponent to just to force out more Roaches from a laser. Until now, though, the game is just drone. It's just saturate our third bases. Ooh, nice trade here. Solar baiting out a Baneling. Oh, almost gets another. Laser have to be careful. Spine crawlers on the way. It looks like, yeah, Solar, he's faking a laser out hard here. We spoke about those Roaches forcing an overreaction. That's exactly what's happening. Yeah, the Roaches, they just back like we're just droning. There we go. We cancel the spine crawlers. A laser freaking out there for a moment, losing another Baneling. Against Solar, he only made 4 Roaches and just droned behind it, and Laser took it very seriously, a little bit too seriously, as he's going to start to re-drone from here. Fourth base on the way. Spine Crawler did finish, so that's a pretty big investment for a laser. As now both players are going for their Spires. Spire Tech is on the way. Muta's on the horizon for both players. He wants another Baneling. Solar looking for it. Again, he's done a great job so far when it comes to sniping these Banelings. When it comes to picking off these units. We have an overseer diving into the main. Spires on the way. Solar, he has eyes on the fourth base. He gets us around. And can he force a cancel? Oh, it looks like he cannot. Is going to be forced back. Here come the Banelings. And oh my god. Laser does pull back in time. Avoids those Banelings. Roaches are amassing. Overseer comes in. And the Spire of a laser has been scouted. Solar knows. Solar is aware. And he forces a cancel. It was off screen, but he does force a cancel on that hatchery. Big pick off there from Solar. Does delay the third. Meanwhile, Solar, he's aware of the mutas and he's getting into his own. And so far, unscouted. Now, what's scary here is it looks like a laser is only making a handful of mutas just because he knows he got scouted. Meanwhile, Solar is committed. The supply block. Oh, we're good. The supply block there from a laser. 4 Overlords on the way. Oh, a little bit brutal there. Again, we need to produce the army. We need to move out. As we are backing off, and the mutas have been revealed. Mutas, they have been revealed. The Overlords are being shut down, and a laser cannot do anything about it. He's down in the muta count because of the supply block. And he has to recover. And we may end up in muta versus muta. A laser's working on +1 air attack, so he will have the better upgrades. Meanwhile, Solar working on +1 air defense. He's going to be working on that instead. Getting so many overlords. A laser heavily supply blocked. I mean, he was already supply blocked before. Now we have another 6 overlords on the way. Sorry, 5 overlords on the way for a laser. Ay, ay, ay. Roach army has been spotted. Solar going to rotate over. Maneuvering towards those roaches. Does catch them. Does catch them in the end. Lings at the same time catching a laser off guard. A laser is being pulled apart. We have Lings hitting the 4th base for a second time. Roaches getting caught out from Solar. He does have to be very careful with how he maneuvers. Gets 2 worker kills, then backs off. At the same time, Solar just trying to split off his army. Both players still committed to mutas. No transition, no hive tech, no infestors or spellcasters of any kind. Just straight up Roach muta. Oh, and Solar does get caught out. Roach is going down. Solar going for a Ling counterattack at the same time. The Roach is going to be denying this 5th base. And Lings are being dealt with. Solar pushing this back with a muta lead, actually. He's up in those mutas. He wants to fight. Oh, does catch the army. And we are going to be committing. Again, the upgrade timing here. +1 air attack. Not done here for a laser. And Solar, he will take a fight. Looking to snowball out of control. He shuts down the mutas. Solar, he's got 10 more mutas than his opponent, plus the upgrade as well. Looks like +1 air attack is finished for a laser. It has finished, but again, Solar can take a fight. The mutas, they will help. Sorry, the queens help. They help support those mutas. At the same time, a big Roach counterattack here at the 4th base of Solar. And Solar, can he stop it? Drones are going down. Solar, his ground army is struggling. The picture-in-picture, his 4th base is falling. 11 drones go down. Solar, he may be winning here in the muta versus muta, but he has lost his 4th base. A laser, he takes a worker lead. Has been losing all these mutas, unfortunately, but we're getting into Corruptor production instead. Is that going to be enough? Corruptors are on the way. Lings are floating across the map as well. And we have so many mutas here for Solar. Even though he has lost his economy, he may just have too much of an army. The mutas were snowballing out of control. GG gets called. Too many mutas. And Solar will take game number 2. GG. Solar may be a little bit disappointed with his performance here. Did take down a laser, but he was favored. He was favored coming into this. We were expecting a 2-0, but a laser, he fought back, and that means they knock each other out. GG, a laser and Solar, they knock each other out, and that means both teams will be fielding their Terran players. But which Terran is the question? Which Terran? Onside have Ryung and Maru. Meanwhile, Team Liquid have Cure and Clem. Regardless, the TVTs are upon us. Nothing but Terran versus Terran here for the next couple of matches until the potential revive, and even then, there's no confirmation that we do revive Solar. Oh boy. So welcome to WTL TVT edition. Bienvenidos, papi, bienvenidos. Oh, and who gets sent out first? That is the question. That is the question. Again, I do believe that Ryung is a TVT sniper. He can take down someone like Clem or Cure. It's very possible that they want to save Clem, especially after like a brutal run. They may just want him to rest. So Cure would be sent out. I am of the opinion though that Cure has better TVT than Clem. So do we want to send out Cure now, or do we want to save Cure for Maru? Questions. Definitely, there's a lot to consider. There's a lot to consider here when it comes to how and when we want to use Cure and Clem, and who we want to save for Maru as well. As Clem is still missing. Remember, Clem wasn't there when a laser won, and he's not there when a laser lost. Like Clem, he's gone, Spap. He's in bed right now. He's having a power nap. He's getting some food. And I think this does confirm that Cure is going to be sent out first. I think after, especially after what just happened against Team Basilisk, I think they want Clem to rest, which would make sense. Yeah, you can see Cure, he's getting his gamer earphones in. He's getting ready. getting ready for his next match. We'll see. We'll see if he is sent out or if Clem comes out of left field. Regardless, Alazer did very well for himself. Alazer going 1-1 against Solar. He did his job. Alazer, he did his job. He won his first game of the playoffs and won a game as well to bring Solar down. And with that, again, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Cure for Team Liquid, but who gets sent out for onside? Do we save Maru or do we send him out here and now? What's the map going to be? Hold on. I think that's pretty important. The map is going to be Equilibrium. Ooh, interesting. I don't think we send Ryung out on Equilibrium. I don't know. I mean, Ryung, he's very much so a positional based player. I feel like maybe Equilibrium would be a good map for Ryung. I do think he thrives on Alkyone. I think Alkyone is really good for Ryung. Like, again, we want to stabilize and settle up to 4 bases and then work towards like maxed out versus maxed out armies and again just move like positional play. That's where Ryung can really thrive. So maybe Equilibrium would be good for him. I say maybe just because if a player like Cure gets momentum, if they take the goal base, then Cure can be a very aggressive player, and he wouldn't give Ryung the time, the breathing room he wants and needs to get into a longer game. So there's a lot to think about. There is a lot to think about. Oh, Clem is back. Uh-oh. Clem, he's like, what happened? Did he win? Did he lose? What? Clem has returned. So who comes out? Who's it going to be? Here we go. It looks like we have our players. It's going to be Cure versus Maru up first. We are saving and holding on to Ryung. Oh boy. Again, Ryung did recently beat Clem already. I think it was 2 weeks ago at this point. So we're going to be holding on to Ryung in the back line. Going to be saving him. Going to be using him to snipe later on. And now we have a TVT, a Korean TVT between Maru and Cure. Let's go. Let us go.
Onside versus Team Liquid. Game 2. Let's start the game.
Let's start the game. And here we go. The TVTs, they have begun. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Equilibrium, we have the blue Terran player representing onside. It is Maru. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Terran player representing Team Liquid. Ooh, as we're going for some proxies, it is Cure. Maru sending out not just one SCV, but 2 SCVs. We have a proxy 2 racks from Maru, and Cure, what kind of opener is he going to go for? If he goes for a Rax Expand, that is going to be the ideal situation for Maru. Again, Equilibrium is a very large map. It makes sense to go for an economic opener, and that would mean that Cure is going to be in trouble, but no, it's double gas. It is going to be a double gas opener out of Cure. He's going for a faster factory. Meanwhile, shout out to the sponsor, shout out to Doyu, Honkai Star, Tidal, Adora. It's Adora. Yeah, Adora Cruises. And Autofull. Okay, hold on. I'm looking this up. Adora. You can actually read it. Adora Cruises. Okay. Big shout out. Oh, yeah, the new sponsor. So, a new sponsor here for the final day of the playoffs here. It's a Chinese American cruise line. You know what that means? That means the team that wins this series, the team that is the WTL champion, we're going on a cruise. Let's go. As you do see Cure setting up. So again, to wind it back here, Proxy 2 racks out of Maru. He was hoping for an economic opener. Cure is going double gas, which means a factory is on the way, which means Hellions/Cyclones will be on the way as well. Cure, he has the tools to defend. It comes down to the control. It comes down to the micro. He has to make sure he pulls the boys, make sure that he does not lose that first Reaper preemptively. He does dip down. What does he see? Did he see that Reaper? Yeah, he did. He did see the Reapers. The boys are being pulled. He needs these SCVs to support his own Reaper to make sure he doesn't lose it, to make sure he survives long enough to get that Hellion. or Cyclone. More often than not, Hellion. As they go, the Reapers, they have arrived. Oh, they will delay the factory. Big pick off there. Oh, the KDA charge. KDA charge does expose that SCV, that Reaper, sorry, for a moment. Factory will finish. It was delayed. There it is. Cyclone is on the way. And Cure, he is holding. He is holding. Again, he starts to hold on to his Reapers. We're going for the dive. Maru, he will get one. Trading 1 for 1 there. 1 Reaper for 1 Reaper. SCVs are going down there. That's going to be 4 dead workers. The Reaper does fall. This is getting out of hand. 5 workers in total. Cyclone still on the way, but it was delayed. And we lose another Marine. Maru popping off here. Maru takes the worker lead, and he's transitioning. Meanwhile, Cure has held, but he lost a little bit too much. Both players are expanding. With this Cyclone, Cure, his main base is safe. But again, he is down in those workers. So Maru, he has done enough to give himself a slight lead. He's not ending the game, but he is slightly ahead. Now, even though he's slightly ahead in workers, technically Cure is ahead when it comes to factory production and the Cyclones. There we go. Second Cyclone is on the way. He is in production. The Reapers, they dive back in as the Cyclone is busy, as it's distracted. One more SCV goes down. Very nice pickup. SCV does fall. Do try to get a lock on. We get another Reaper. But the third Reaper slips and we get another SCV. This is becoming too much. It's becoming far too much at this point. Maru popping off, killing another 3 workers. Workers that we cannot afford to lose. And now Maru has a 5-worker lead. He's up by 5 SCVs. Behind this reactored Cyclone production, Medevac is on the way. Maru, he's going to keep the pressure on, keep the aggression up. He will soon be moving out. Likewise, Cure also getting into Medevacs and Cyclones. I believe Cure has the Cyclone lead, slightly. I believe. But we'll see. Okay, it's 2 and 2. 2 Cyclones from Cure against 2 Cyclones of Maru. It's going to come down to the control. As Maru, he does come in and he delays. Oh my god. Maru. Dropping here on that add-on, delaying the add-on swap. You don't see that too often at all, actually. I think that's the first time I've seen that. He's an animal. He even turned that Tech Lab blue for a moment. Oh my god. Took it for himself. And here we go. Maru is going to be pushing. A bit of an overextension. Maru almost losing one of those Cyclones. Oh, rough start. Rough start for Maru. Bit of miscontrol initially. Boys are being pulled to help support. To help tank some of those lock-ons, and they do. Lock-ons, they are tanked. So far, the juggling looking good, and Cure, he gets completely shut down, loses the Cyclones, loses the Medevac as well, and Maru is snowballing out of control. Again, the SCVs did beautifully there for Maru. They tanked so many of those Cyclone shots, and the juggling was on point as well. Maru taking a massive lead. He was already ahead in workers, he was already ahead in economy, and now he's far ahead in army as well. Maru looking dominant here, and Cure is behind. He's not out of this, but he does have to come back. He does have to try to claw his way back into this, whether it's by getting economic damage done, whether it's building up a tank count and turtling up. But Maru, he's not slowing down, he's pushing. Maru is pushing right through the center. We have 8 Cyclones. We have our Ravens for auto turrets. We have the Medevac to juggle. And it's just a numbers game at this point. Like, Curie's gonna have to pull the boys, and even if he does, it's no sure thing. Here we go. The army has been spotted. We do dive. Auto turrets are thrown down for both players. And Maru, he is looking to break through. So far, the juggling, though. Oh my god. Lock-ons here from Cure. He does barely break through that defensive line. He cleans up the Cyclones at a cost. Maru does lose his Cyclone army, but he killed both of those Ravens, and he keeps his own alive. So there's a bit of a trade here, a bit of a give and take. Maru did lose his Cyclones, but he keeps his Ravens alive. Meanwhile, Cure lost his own and does keep his Cyclones alive instead. And we're continuing Raven production. Okay, so Cure, he's replacing and replenishing his Raven count. Very wise choice. And he's getting his third CC on location. Meanwhile, Maru is playing mech. That is 2 factories, a third factory is on the way. Maru, he's doubling down on Mass Cyclone. Meanwhile, Cure is going to Bio. He's going into Bio tank instead, eventually. We're still producing Cyclones in the early game, but we have Stim on the way, 2 more Raxes as well. Cyclone's looking to push in, but Cure, he has the Concave. Cure, he has the better positioning here. His third base is up and running. So is Maru's. Scan does reveal the mech. Cure, he sees the Mass Factory. He knows. He now is aware of the mech style from Maru. Maru looking for a way in. So let's go for the scan. He's going to chip away at the base, but no real damage. Cure coming in with those auto towers. Big lock-ons. Up. Gets a Raven. Gets 2 Ravens as well. Big pickups there from Cure. A good trade, but is he going to be overwhelmed though? There's still so many Cyclones. Cure, he's down to 3. He's down to 3 Cyclones, and Maru, he is reinforcing. He wants to snowball out of control. He wants to break Cure here and now. He wants to break through. Takes down a Raven. Tank has arrived, but it's exposed. We're trying to dive on top of the tank, get some big tank volleys off, but it looks like there are just too many Cyclones. Maru, he has broken the third base. He has broken the army as well. Cure being forced all the way back to the natural. Boys are being pulled, but it may just be too much. 14 dead SCVs. Ay, ay, ay. And we're not done. Did I say 14? I meant to say 20. 22 SCVs go down, and we may be losing some Cyclones. But again, Maru, he's producing 4 Cyclones at a time. 2 more factories on the way. The Mass Cyclone getting out of control. Auto turret was thrown down. Another as well here on the front lines. Boys are being pulled just to survive. Cure, he's treading water. He's trying to keep his head above water, but it's not enough. Losing 26 workers, and Maru, he's still just amassing his Cyclone army. The Ravens did trade. I believe Maru still has 1 Raven left alive. Behind this is getting into Viking production. Tanks, +1 vehicle weapons. Second armory for double upgrades. Cure, he's getting into his bio, don't get me wrong, but Maru has double the worker count. He has double the economy of Cure. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Maru. And where do we go from here? Oh, the medevacs! As the medevacs are caught out for a moment. We'll save them. Nice pick off. We do get 1 of those Cyclones. Again, Maru's army can be more efficient. The gold base is being taken as well. It isn't just Maru with 80 workers. It's 80 workers plus the gold. So here we go. We're pushing on forward. The Cyclones getting out of control here, picking off so many of these Marines and Marauders. Tanks are sieging. The tanks are the backbone of Cure's army, and it's going to be difficult for Maru to engage into a tank line. Cure has to take advantage of that. But regardless, Maru, he picks off a medevac. Raven does go down. We're getting on top of the tanks. The 1 tank does fall. The Marauder army here of Cure breaking through. Again, Marauders, they trade so well against both Cyclones and tanks. And Cure, he's doing it. He's breaking through the defensive line. Can he get into the economy, though? Can he get into a mineral line? The tank does siege. Maru, he's holding. Maru, he holds onto his natural. We have a couple of Marines and Marauders left. Oh, we are overstimmed. We are overstimmed. The medevacs are still on the way. Tank's going to be popping up. Oh, the Hellbats are going down. Boys, they were pulled for a moment. Again, Cure, he is bouncing back. He's pretty all in, though. He's very committed. He cannot allow Maru to build up that tank count. It's going to be tank lib out of Maru. And it looks like Maru, he is regaining control of his bases. Cure, he was popping off. He did do so much damage with that push, but he's running out of steam. Running out of steam in the main base. He's being cleaned up. It gets another Cyclone. And Cure, he's amassing another army. He is aware of the golds, but again, because he's so all in, he's going straight for the kill. He's going straight for the throat. Gets 1 tank. Gets one, but the boys are being pulled in. We're running out of Marines. We're running out of Marauders. It looks like Maru, he has too much. He breaks the army here of Cure, cleans everything up. It did cost Maru 17 SCVs, but he can afford to lose those SCVs. Cure going for another stim. Again, these 1-1, this 1-1 bio army trading so well against the Cyclones, but it's still not enough. Again, now with tanks supporting this army, Maru is pushing out. He is pushing out across the map. Again, Cure trading so well. Good target firing out of Cure. He does get 2 more tanks. Very efficient trades here from our Red Terran. But he's still down in the economy. He still has to overcome that. He has to overcome the fact that Maru has a gold. If it wasn't for the gold base, I mean, Cure, he may have bounced back. As Maru, he's just sending everything across the map. Not slowing down. Not allowing Cure to breathe here. The Liberator is going to be shut down. Tank's going to be going off. Good target firing once again. The Marauders, they get another tank. Do get another tank. Cure is going to be laying siege or sieging up here outside the bases. Rock's soon to be knocked down. Oh. Rocks are being knocked down here as Maru is just encroaching upon the bases here of Cure. Getting ever so closer. He is waddling in. That's at the same time Cure just trying to move out with a counter drop. Bold move out of Cure. I don't think we can afford that. He's going for it though. Smart. He's just leapfrogging forward, getting within range of the CC. He's got plenty of Hellbats here to support. Cure going for a counterattack. Oh, but we have a lot of Vikings. Yeah, we're shelling away at that orbital. Tanks getting ever so closer. Cure getting ready for potentially a surround or just catching reinforcements. Tank does fall. We do catch a couple of tanks. Just one. A good setup here from Cure. He could try to go for the surround. The boys are being pulled. And he wants to collapse on this tank line. The tanks are all going to be cleaned up. A big trade here for Cure. A big cleanup. But there's still another army. Again, because Cure... purely because of the economy. The economy here of Maru, he's on 81 workers. He can sustain these losses. Maru, he just lost 5 tanks, but it doesn't matter. He has another 5. He has another 6. Even if Cure is fighting better, even if he's taking better fights and better trades, does not matter. Does not matter in the end. As another tank is going to be going down. Cure getting a really good concave, though. He's pushing in. Oh, my God. He's taking so many tank shots to the face, though. Oh, my God. That was brutal. And the Vikings land. The army gets cleaned up. And then Maru has finally done it. He has broken the army of Cure. That was it. He was so committed with that. Another Medevac going to be going down. We're going to land on those tanks. Does think better of it. Maru gonna back off. Does pull back in the end. Maru smiling for a moment. And we can see Cure trying to gain whatever value he can. But here come the Libs, forcing back the tanks. It's the slow push here from Maru. Maru slowly pushing forward with his tanks, then Liberator, then Tank, then Lib. Gaining ground. Oh my God. And here come the reinforcements. Here comes the army of Maru. Double the army supply at this point. Even if Marauders are more efficient here, it's just not enough. It's just not enough here. The numbers not in favor of Cure. We break through. GG gets called, and Maru will take game number 1. GG. From the beginning, from the onset, Maru was in the driver's seat. He was able to come in with his proxy 2-racks, was able to get so many SCV kills, and of course, follow it up with the Mass Cyclone into the mech as well. Cure just had a really rough opener, had a really rough start to the game, really rough opener, lost too much, was on the back foot for almost the entirety of that game. He had a nice moment when it came to his first bio push, if you remember, when he was able to clean up all the Cyclones, clean up all the tanks. Like, he traded so damn efficiently there with his Marauders and with his Marines, but he could only do so much because he ran out of steam. He was overstimmed, heavily overstimmed with that army, and eventually Maru was able to hold on with a superior economy and get out of hand, get out of control. GG. GG, well played. With that, Maru does take the first game, and we'll see if Kira can bring it back in game 2. We have our map of choice. It's going to be Oceanborn. Okay, a much smaller map here, a much more aggressive map as well. I'm curious. Kira, what are you thinking? What are you planning? Again, we have seen Kira go toe-to-toe with Maru before. I want to believe he can do so again. Or will Maru be able to go on a bit of a win streak himself? Again, Maru has been lying in wait this entire time, building himself up. And here we go in the bottom right-hand corner. We have for Team Onside, it is Maru. And spawning in the top left, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran. For Team Liquid, Kyor. Here we go. And this time, the Raxes are back at home. This time, we do not have a proxy. Thankfully. Thankfully, no proxy this time. The Raxes for both players are back at home. And we'll see what kind of openers we go for. Now, again, the Rush Distance Spike round is shorter on Oceanborn, so I'm curious if we go for, double gas openers. Double gas from Cure. We should be seeing double gas out of Maru. He does have a lead in this series. Maru could be tempted to go for an economic opener instead, and it looks like that's what's happening. Maru gonna be greedy here, and I mean, after cheesing in game 1, this makes sense. This does make sense here. It's a good way to play with the series, a good way to play with your opponent. The mind games are real. As Cure is on notice, he's a little bit scarred after that first game. And we'll see if Maru can get away with this. SCV Scout's going to be moving out. Going to be moving out across the map. With that, he does confirm the opener is aware, and there it is. There's a CC on the low ground for Maru. As he mentioned, it was only a single gas opener, so an economic economic opener out of Maru, which means Maru's going to be the defender and Cure's going to be the aggressor. Cure, he is aware that he is now behind in the economy, and he's going to have to try and punish Maru as best he can, and we'll see if he can. Now, we have seen one base all-ins from Terran players in this position, but that's typically someone like Gumiho, for example, like a very chaotic player. I don't think Cure is really one to do that. He should just be going for a delayed expansion, as the factory is finishing. What happened to Maru's arms? I could be wrong. I think that's a heat pack. Am I crazy? I know they have like heat pads in Korea, just to like warm up your arms, especially in the winter when it's really cold. So not a heat pack, but a heat pad. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. Just so he can stay toasty in the winter. But that's just my guess. That's my assumption. Here we go as the Reaper does get across the map. Does get across the map here just to chip away, just to keep an eye here on Maru. Bunker is done. Cyclone production underway. Cure, he did invest into a Hellion as well, and the Reapers, they do get in. They bust into the main base, and again, we're looking for SCV damage. We're looking for SCV kills. We get one. One SCV does go down. Can we get another clutch repair there out of Maru? But it looks like he will lose another worker. 2 SCVs do fall. Can we get a third? We can. Third SCV falls as well. Maru in a lot of trouble. The Cyclone finally comes out, finally shuts this down, but not before losing 5 SCVs. At the same time, Maru dives into the main base, gets a full scout, but gets shut down by the Cyclone. And just like that, Cure, he takes a worker lead. And to be fair, he had to, right? Again, Cure, he was down in the economy initially based on the openers, and now he's back. He has bounced back. It's like, Cure, you gotta kill some workers. Is that okay? I'll do it. I'll get it done. And we're not done. It's not over as we're going for a Cyclone drop across the map. A Cyclone alongside a Hellion. We are moving out. Behind this, Cure committing to Cyclone production, to reactored Cyclone production. Maru getting into Bio, working towards a Rax. Oh, good juggling out of Cure, keeping all his units alive. And important to point out that Maru is playing Bio. Last game we played Mech. This time, taking a more Bio outlook. Or Marine Marauder outlook here on this game. And Cure, we've seen this a lot from Cure. Once he gets momentum, once he gets map control, bam! Third TC on location for Cure. He's already ahead economically and he's looking to get further ahead. Meanwhile, jumps into the main, takes down the Cyclone, but will lose the medevac. Cure, he does break in. Boys, they have to be pulled. SCVs are going down. Oh my god, Cure, he already killed 5 workers. He gets another 7 SCVs in the main. Ay. Maru, his economy in shambles. Liberator comes into the natural as well. More workers going to be going down. Workers that we cannot afford to lose. Cure with a 10-worker lead, plus the third CC. Maru's going to be committed. Maru, from this point, his eventual push needs to get damage done. The pressure is on. Pressure is going to be on. Cure, unrelenting here, rallying across the map. Again, he wants to keep Maru contained. Wants to keep him on the back foot. So there is a tank on the low ground. So Cure has to be very careful with how he maneuvers. Still amassing Cyclones. Third base is getting up and running. No third CC for Maru whatsoever. Not yet. He throws down 2 more Raxes instead and 2 E-Bays. Oh, no, that's Cure. Cure throwing down his E-Bays, getting ready for his upgrades. Does go for the disable. He's going for the tank. The boys, they have to be pulled. Big repair here on the bunker, and we will not keep it alive. The bunker falls, but a second tank has arrived. And we are holding. Again, Curie's getting into Bio, getting into his upgrades. Meanwhile, Maru still no third CC. Going for the add-on swap, waiting for medevacs, and then we're pushing out. Maru has a massive army. So basically, this is basically a 2-base all-in out of Maru. He's just building up here on 2 bases. Working towards one big push. Tanks have sieged. Shots don't go off. Maru working on combat shields, working on +1. He's only got the 1 eBay. Only has that 1 eBay. As we are trying to push forward here. Good tank shot. On the Cyclones. Maru looking to get an... Oh! Barely doesn't get another shot off. Here we go. Maru, he is pushing. He has been slowed down a little bit here, but Cure, does he have enough to defend? He's got a tank, got a sensor tower. Cyclones, they rotate around. They get a Marine. Get a Marine, get an SCV. And the boys are being pulled. Maru is completely all in with this. It's all or nothing for Maru. You can see it on the minimap. The SCVs are soon to arrive. Show us, Papi. Show us the SCVs. Ah. And there it is. The boys have arrived. It's all or nothing here from Maru. One way or another, the game is going to end. Maru, he's taking too many losses. He knows that there is no coming back from this. Boys are being pulled for Cure. But it looks like Maru, he has a little bit too much. The Marines, they're breaking through the line. They're breaking through on top of the tanks as well. And Maru, oh my god, he breaks through the army, gets into the third base. The tanks are still alive, by the way. Maru up 20 army supply. And it looks like Maru may have enough to break the natural as well. Again, Cure, he can afford to lose some workers. He's still ahead. He's still ahead in the economy. But he is down in tanks. Big anti-armor missile. But again, there's 4 tanks. We can't push in. Cure, he cannot touch this army. Not with 4 tanks to support Maru. He's going to try, though. He's going for the dive. SCVs are being pulled. He gets on top of 2 of those tanks. There's 2 tanks left. But that is enough. Maru, He holds on to this position. Reinforcements are trickling in. And with these Marauders, yeah, he can break through. Yeah, a handful of Marauders is all you need. The tank falls, and Maru's done it. Kira was in a commanding position. He was ahead. He was winning. He had this game, but the all-in was too much. Maru, he knew that there was no way to recover. It was all or nothing. GG gets called, and Maru will take game number 2. GG. GG, well played, Maru. Things are looking dire. He was losing workers left and right. He was falling further and further behind in the economy. There was only one answer, one way to come back, and that was to pull the boys. There. And with that, Maru takes a 2-0. With that, Team Liquid are down to their final player. They have lost a laser. They have lost Cure. Clem is the answer. Clem has to come out. And up next, we're going to be getting ready for Maru versus Clem in another TVT. Bearing in mind that if Maru takes a bearing in mind that onside still have Ryung. They still have Ryung in the back line for another TVT matchup. And again, Ryung is a TVT sniper. I would say that TVT is his best matchup. So he is no slouch. He did take down Clem earlier, a couple of weeks ago. Can do it again a second time as well. So it's all about Clem's TVT. We have to rely on it. We need Clem to pop off. And we'll be back after this break for our next series. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our final player for Team Liquid. Clem has arrived, and he's going to be going up against Maru in a TVT.
Onside versus Team Liquid. Game 3. Let's start the game.
Let's start the game as we have our Terran versus Terran here. Maru already took down Cure 2-0. Can he be stopped? As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkyone, we have our Korean Terran for onside. It is Maru. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have for Team Liquid, the red Terran player. The final hope. It is Clem. I think I saw 2 SCVs. Yep, 2 SCVs are moving out. Maru going for another proxy 2-racks. It is Maru we're talking about. He has no fear. He has no fear whatsoever. He already made this work against Cure. He already 2-racks Cure to death. And we're on Alkyone, a very large map. Clem, he's going to be tempted to go for a Rax expand. Uh-oh. And it looks like he does not. Okay, second gas is being taken. Clem is going for a Rax into factory setup here, so he will have the tools to defend. But as we saw earlier, this is not designed to kill, this is designed to maim. And if Maru kills too many SCVs, then he will get ahead. It's going to be on Clem to minimize his worker losses, to minimize his worker damage. Otherwise, Maru will get out of control. SCV Scouts coming in. Big moment here for Clem. He comes in with the SCV. He does come across the proxy 2 racks. He sees, he is aware, he knows. Now, he won't be able to shut this down, but he is now aware of what's happening. Mentally, he can prepare. There it is. Bunker on the high ground. Oh, that's going to be a kill on the SCV. A bit of a slip up there. That was not supposed to happen. But regardless, Bunker is on the way, which means that Clem should be safe and sound. He should not die to this. Overreacting a little bit. He's got a bunker on the right-hand side and a bunker on the left. So one bunker covering each entry point here into the main to make sure that this does not get damage done. Reaper does arrive, but the Reaper arrives as well for Clem. Maru is forced back. And again, with the second bunker, Clem is safe and sound. He can always salvage the bunkers as well once the defense is over. Once he has deflected Maru. Meanwhile, he dips down. He does check to make sure that we're still producing Reapers. Maru is still applying a lot of pressure here on the front lines. Getting some extra hits in. Poking away at that wall. Does pull back. We are still amassing Reapers. Maru working towards his factory behind this. Getting into that factory follow-up. Reaper's going to be dipping in. We don't commit. We do pull back. Do pull back. As we just ignore the bunker, we just go for the dive. We dive into the main base. Marine does get picked off. Oh, and we may be able to get a second Marine as well. Ooh. Maru, a bit of miscontrol, will be losing one of his Reapers. The Cyclone arrives, and Clem has held. And Clem hasn't lost a single SCV. I mean, he lost one worker earlier, but only one, or only two. With that, Clem has held. He has maintained his worker count. He can always salvage these bunkers, and he's expanding. Clem in a much better position compared to what Cure was earlier. So a strong start here for Clem. He's getting into his transition. Likewise, so is Maru. And looking at the worker counts, we are even. We are dead even here when it comes to workers. Maru slightly ahead by 1, it looks like. But Clem is ahead in Cyclone production because he did have the faster factory. Oh, did you see that? Are we going for a third CC? We are! Clem, okay. How do we recover? How do we bounce back from this position? Both, oh my, great minds think alike. Clem going straight for a third CC, and so is Maru. Both players rushing into their third bases as quickly as possible. Both players cutting corners, both players being greedy, and both players will ease their way into the mid game. I was caught a little bit off guard by that. Let's go. I don't know if the observer has realized what's happening, by the way, because we haven't. The observer should have like gone to the CCs, and I'm sure we'll get there soon. Regardless, Cyclones are going for a big counterattack. Clem working towards that main. Meanwhile, Maru in position at the natural, the main base looking a little bit exposed. We could maybe delay the CC, but I think it's about to finish. Yeah, the CC does finish up in time. Cyclones do spot it. Do dip into the main. We get one worker. And we should only get a single worker here as, yeah, the drop is deflected. Ooh, at the same time, looks like a Cyclone, yeah, did wander in. Ay. Cyclone does go down. Good pick off here from Maru. Bit of miscontrol out of Clem. Did just fly too close to the sun. Likewise, Clem is going to be able to outrange the bunker. Going to get quite a lot of damage dealt to it. Oh, it looks like we can focus down. No, the repairs are just barely good enough. Maru will hold. We have tank production underway. Clem, instead of going into tanks, is going into he's going into reactor Cyclone production. So mass Cyclone out of Clem, bio tank out of Maru. Difference makers on the way. Reapers, they do get into the middle line. SCVs are going to be going down. Likewise, Clem dives into the main. Workers are going to be falling for both players. Clem gets 3 SCVs across the map. 4 SCVs across the map. Oh, Clem, he only gets 2. Only 2 workers fall. As we're going to be dropping here on the low ground. Ooh, losing one of those Cyclones already. And just like that, Maru takes the worker lead. He's still killing more SCVs. Oh my god. 8 workers in total. Not like this. And suddenly, despite the failed proxy 2 racks, he recovers. Maru has recovered. He does take a worker lead. Both players have their 3rd CCs. We can see Clem, again, being greedy, going for a double eBay. So is Maru. Both players going for their double eBay production. Meanwhile, Clem is not done. He still is looking for some counter damage. Sharking around with that medevac. There's 2 Cyclones. There we go. Cyclone drop into the mineral line. It does get a kill on that turret. Not too bad. Does get a kill. As behind this, here we go. Clem is going to be committing here to his push. He's got a massive amount of Cyclones, but the tank does go down. Not a single shot goes off. Do we have enough Cyclones? The answer is no. The wall of auto turrets does hold on here to the 3rd base. With that, Maru, he does hold a very efficient fight. Clem really struggling to break through. Now, he does still have a mass Cyclone army, don't get me wrong. Did lose his tank. Yeah, there we go. Going for a drop instead. Drop towards that main. As we go, the medevac is going to be slipping into the main base. We do have a couple of Marines in position, so but yeah, we're going to be able to force this back already. Likewise, Maru going for a double drop into that mineral line as well. 4 SCVs go down. I mean, Clem, he was already behind in the economy, going to be losing even more SCVs. Maru, he just finds a way, dives into the main base. More SCVs going to be going down, 9 in total. Ooh, it looks like we will shut down the drop, though. Big pickoff. Both medevacs go down. Very nicely done. I loved the disable on that medevac. Did cancel the boost. Did lock down that medevac in the end. At the same time, Maru across the map, doing what he can, gets 3 workers. Oh, as Clem does fly too close to the sun. Medevac does fall. Is pushing right through the center, though. And again, Clem, he does have an army lead. He does have the lead in the army. But the quality, does he have it? A big anti-armor missile. Yeah, we have plenty of Ravens to work with. Plenty of tanks as well. This is not a fight that Clem can take. It's not a fight that he's looking for. Big disables here on these tanks. Maru maybe overextending, though. Yeah, he does overextend. Marine's going to be going down. The tanks as well. And Clem, he cleans up the army. Again, Maru's being so adventurous despite being down in tanks and down in Marines specifically. And Clem, he takes a big fight. Here we go. Going for a counterattack. Clem, he's up in tanks. He reset the tank out of Maru. Our boys are being pulled. A bit of a desperation move here from Maru, trying to get on top of those tanks. He will be able to, but he's going to be losing so many SCVs in the process. Maru cleans up the tanks, losing 22 workers. And Clem, he is fighting back. He is breaking through. 1-1 is done for both players. Clem, without the support of his tanks, he cannot actually break the 3rd base. But Maru, he had to whip everything out to try to hold there. And there's still 1 tank left. Still 1 tank remaining for Clem. He's going to pull back. Doesn't want to overextend. Doesn't want to lose his tank. I respect it. Clem, he will rotate around. be rotating around instead. Clem pushing through the right-hand side. He does have a massive supply lead. Again, Maru, he had to throw away his economy. He had to throw away his economy to survive earlier, and the longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for Clem. Going for a drop on the right-hand side, a massive Doom drop into the main. Oh, not enough turrets. There's no ring of turrets here to protect Maru. And Clem, he's looking to take a lead here in this series, going for the drop, going for the dive. There we go, massive drop into the main base. The tanks are sieging, and we are taking control of the production. Control of the main base. And how can Maru deal with this? He does siege up his tanks. Oh, he's going to be losing one of them, though. Big disable here. It looks like Maru, he will force this back. At the same time, we have another army pushing towards the third. And is Maru in position? The answer is no. He's not in position here. Going for a drop here on the low ground instead. The tanks are sieged. Boys are being pulled again for a second time. And Clem, he has done it. He has broken the third. GG gets called. Clem takes game number 1. Whew. GG, well played. Maru misjudging the fight in the center of the map. If you remember, that's where things went south. When Maru and Clem, they were posturing around the Zelnaga, looking for a fight. Maru, that's when he got the anti-armor missile. That's when he got the disable, and he dove on the army despite being down in Marines. And Maru did lose everything then and there, and things very quickly snowballed out of control in favor of Clem. And with that, Clem takes game 1. And if he takes game number 2, he will be forcing Ryung out from onside. Meanwhile, if Maru takes this next game and goes for the 1-1 score, then Team Liquid will have to revive. There is a lot on the line here for game number 2. Can Maru fight back, or will Clem start his win streak? Again, Clem, he is the MVP. He's the ace player, the star player of Team Liquid for a reason. He carried the team on his back against Basilisk. He all-killed Basilisk, which is crazy. Can he also bring out the magic? Can he make some magic happen here against onside as well? It's all on Clem. It is all on Clem. But, I'm sure a position that he's familiar with. He's been here before. He can do it again, right? He can do it again. Sin chat. Oh, quero win, papi. Quero win. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Hope you're doing well, papi. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're okay. Good to see you again. Good to see you. That's Karen. I hope you're ready for some more TVT action. And here we go. It's going to be the map of choice from Maru. It's going to be Oceanborn. Oceanborn coming up next. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have our Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing onside. It is Maru. And in the top left, we have his opponent. We have, for Team Liquid, the ace player, the star player here of the playoffs. It is Clem. The clear MVP of WTL. Clem has been popping off here this weekend. And can he keep it going? This time, Maru not going for a proxy Durax. Now, even though Maru did take an economic lead that last game, even though he was just all over Clem, picking apart his economy, his workers, his SCVs, that was also off of the back of a failed proxy Durax, where Maru got scattered very early on, got shut down. So we'll see how we approach things here in game 2. So far, everything's back at home. Maru going for a double gas opener, so is Clem. Okay, so delayed expansions from our players, faster factories. Maru respecting his opponent. Remember, against Cure, Maru did go for a Rax expand on this map, on Oceanborn. So maybe he was hoping he could kind of like trick Clem into trying to proxy him instead or something along those lines. But last we have mirrored builds, mirrored openers. Everything looking as it should. Here we go. As we do have Clem likewise going to be scouting around his bases as well. Going to be moving across the map with his SCV scout. Meanwhile, Maru also moving out with his Reaper. Both players trying to get a read on each other. I'm loving the movement here from Clem. With this SCV, he's going to be avoiding the Reaper. and which means he will have it here to tank. Meanwhile, Maru out of position. And here we go, Clem going straight for that CC. Going straight for the delay. Yeah, this SCV is going to be going down at the same time. Maru comes in from behind, but oh, we get the first shot off from Clem. There we go, second Reaper has arrived. A big delay, though, on that CC. So really nice moves here from our Red Terran. Really nice moves from Clem. We're going to be trading an SCV for an SCV, but again, the worker of Maru was more important there, as the base is quite heavily delayed. From here, Clem looking for another angle of attack. Looking for another way in. Reaper's going to be dancing. But they will back off. Cyclone production has commenced for both players. Getting into our 1-1-1 setups here. One racks into factory, into starport. Everything's still looking normal. Clem has a slight lead. Clem has a slight edge just because of his CC timing. Outside of that, everything is, again, pretty neck and neck, pretty close. Everything is still pretty close. As we're just waiting for the first sign of aggression, and here it is. Both players are going for Cyclone drops. Now, we could end up in a really awkward position where Clem goes for his Cyclone drop on the left-hand side, Maru goes on the right, and they miss each other, and then both players have Cyclones in each other's bases. We've seen this scenario play out before, and again, things can get just really intense and really chaotic. We'll see if that happens here. As Clem is going for his drop, Maru should be as well. But it looks like he's staying back home. Okay. Interesting. So we're not going to be... The drops won't be passing each other. Instead, Maru, he's lying in wait, waiting for Clem to show up. The trap is set. Now, can Maru shut down that medevac? Can he focus down that medevac in time and minimize his worker damage? And here we go. He's going for the dive. We do boost away. Big boost here, and Clem will escape. Oh, but Maru's not satisfied. He wants to chase us down. We have the counter lock-ons. Both medevacs very low. We do have a couple of Reapers here to support. And Clem is getting the hell out of there. He's racing back home. He is going to be racing back home instead. And with that, the dust is gonna settle. We're gonna calm things down, Bobby. Calm things down. Oh, as it looks like, Cure, is that you? I mean, to be fair, he did this against Cure. Maru is going into mech. We have additional factories on the way. Maru, he made this work against Cure earlier on Equilibrium, and we'll see if he can make it work here against Clem. As we are going into Mass Cyclone. Now, this is not gonna be pure Cyclone. It's Mass Cyclone into eventually tank Hellion Viking in the mid game once we get our 3 bases up and running. But for now, it is just purely Cyclones. And here we go. Clemmy comes in for another drop. We'll get one. We'll get one SCV before pulling back. Clem amassing his army outside the natural base, and Maru Z in position. Does spot the army. Does reaction time with those Ravens, does pull back. Clem trying to pull Maru apart. He's trying. Scan into the main, reveals the production, reveals, yep, the double factory. Clem knows. Clem is now aware that his opponent has a mass amount of Cyclones, and Clem has to retreat. He has to pull back to the safety of his bio, of his tanks. And fighting in the center of the map is exactly what Maru wanted. Disable is researched. As in 5 seconds, it's going to finish up. We will have the interference matrix. We will have disables available, or auto turrets. Here we go, pushing in. The auto turrets are thrown down. The mass auto turrets from both players. Ravens will fall, and Clem holds. Clem forces back the army. Had more than enough to defend. A good start here for Clem. Trading pretty evenly. Oh, the medevac does make it out. Both players lost both Ravens. I think Maru lost an extra Cyclone. He is going to try and force his way in. And there we go, denying mining here at the third base. There is a tank, though. There is a tank in the back line. Do we have a disable? Do we have a disable available? As across the map, we do get 2 Cyclones getting some SCV kills. And Maru is forced to pull away from the mineral line completely. And now we drop into the main. Workers are falling. Clem all over Maru. It is all over him. Tank going to be coming out. 8 SCVs go down. And the medevac survives. Clem, he holds and he attacks. And now he's pushing out. He's going for a big counterattack. The drop's still active behind the mineral line. Clem is going to be pushing. We drop back in. SCVs are going down. Clem, he's pulling Maru apart. He's pulling him apart. Autotars are thrown down. Boys are being pulled. Can Maru hold on? He can. He can and he will. Marauders are getting a lot of damage done, though. They clean up the Cyclones. The Marauders are the real MVPs. We shut down the tanks, and Clem, he has broken the third base. 16 SCVs went down. Maru losing far too many workers, and Clem doesn't have enough to push into the natural, but again, he is getting a lot of value here, getting a 4th base behind this. Clem has to be very careful not to overextend. He's rallying across the map. He's trying to reinforce. Tanks are repositioning. Oh, Maru does get the first shot off. It does kill the tank. A good trade for Maru. Now remember, because Maru is playing mech, even if he is down in supply, even if he's down in economy, he can get a more efficient army. He can just turtle up and build up into mech. Meanwhile, Clem going to be rotating around. Catching a Hellion. Catch a Hellion. We do have scans just keeping tabs here on Clem's army. Maru doesn't want to get caught out. But again, the longer this goes on, the better it is for Clem. Clem, he's up in workers. He's up in bases. You can see the gap in supply widening. As Clem is building up a larger army. You can see Clem working towards a 2nd starport for double Viking production. Or additional Viking production. Maru trying to squeeze out a couple of Liberators, which will help. Will help, will support him. So here we go, we're going for the dive. Hellion's going straight for the main base. But it looks like it's not going to be worth it. We don't really get any SCVs. Bit of a risky move here from Maru. It wasn't worth it. At the same time, he goes on the right-hand side, but there's a planetary. Maru going for some Hail Mary plays here with the Hellion run-bys, but it just does not pay off. We shut it all down. The Hellions do fall. Behind this, Maru is working towards Thor's. We got double armory upgrades on the way, but Maru, he still has to bounce back. I mean, he can take a big fight. That's the thing. Like, one big fight can go the way of Maru. But Clem, he is up 40 supply. Show us the power of mech. Can we? Yeah, Maru, he's turtling. He's just turtling on up. Sensor towers, missile darts on the way. A big tank volleys. But the first tank does go down. The second tank as well. We can see Clem going for a massive dive into the natural. A risky maneuver here from Clem. He's going to be losing all of this bio army. Good juggling here, saving the Thor. Barely. We just go straight for the mineral line. And this makes it worth it for Clem. He gets 12 SCV kills. Did I say 12? 15. 15 SCVs go down. Clem pulling Maru apart. Clem, you can afford these trades. Maru cannot. Clem does throw away some Marine Marauder for 16 SCVs. Clem here. Clem trying to keep up. Sorry, Mario trying to keep up. Clem has remaxed. The tank army moving out. Now again, even if Mario's down in army supply, if he does get the first tank volley off, like, he can come out on top. Can win out a fight here, as he is slowly taking a 4th base. 4th is going to be on the way. Clem has to be very careful with how he engages. We're going for a doom drop. Do love it. Again, we can see Clem just trying to distract the main army of Maru. I wonder if Maru realizes, hold up, your army is smaller than it should be. Yeah, he notices. But not quite in position. Yeah, he's distracted, and here we go. We go for the doom drop into the main base. The kill shot, the kill move here, taking control of the production. Yeah, tank is going to be going down. Starport as well. Maru, he's racing back home, but he will be losing so much. At the same time, Clem pushing towards that 3rd. Yeah, Starport's going to be burning down. Maru losing control of his entire main base. Can we get the factories? Liberator as well. Clem all over Maru, just pulling him apart left and right. Dropping the main, push towards the 3rd, and Liberator at the 4th. Thors are rolling on in. And they will eventually clean this up. But this is a brutal trade for Maru. And at the same time, Clem, he wants the 4th. GG gets called. Maru, he gets pulled apart. And Clem takes the series 2-0. GG, fighting back here. Maru may have taken down Cure, but Clem takes down Maru. And this means that Onside are down to their last player. Before the revive, Ryung should be coming out. GG, well played. Oh, Papi. Here we go. Clem looking strong here against Maru, but Ryung is a TVT sniper, and Ryung has beaten Clem in the past. Can he do it again, though? Was it a fluke, or can he be that sniper that Onside needs? Again, Ryung, he has a chance here against Clem. Likewise, Clem, I'm sure, wants his revenge. I'm sure he wants his revenge here against Ryung. Can he do it? Can he pull it off? We're here for it. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, Clem versus Ryung coming up next. See you soon.
Onside versus Team Liquid. Game 4. Let's start the game.
And we are back here with our final players for both teams. We have in the top right-hand corner the Korean Terran player, the blue Terran. For onside, it is Ryung. Oh, the POV. And in the bottom left, we have the French Terran player, the red Terran for Team Liquid, the Hope. It is Clem, the reigning ESL Masters champion. And here we go, the TVTs do continue, and this is a rematch for those who are curious. Ryung did 2-0 Clem a couple of weeks ago after Clem's victory in ESL Masters Winter. And I always knew that Ryung was a TVT sniper. I did expect him to take games off of Clem. I was not expecting a 2-0 at the time. That was very impressive, a very dominant performance out of Ryung. But it has been a couple of weeks. I think it's been 2 weeks since then, 2-3 weeks. Has been a little bit of time since that series. And I'm sure Clem wants his revenge. And clearly, Clem is on fire. This weekend, he's been popping up here, game after game, series after series, taking down some big names. He has shown weakness in TVT. That's what I was concerned about, specifically against onside. Onside, I do think they have two players that can rely on to bring Clem down. Earlier this weekend, it was Bjorn who did make Clem bleed. Can Ryung do the same as Bjorn? We'll see. Or will Clem pop off and force the revive? Here we go, as we are getting into our best of two. So we're getting into our best of two here so far. Double gas openers all around, so both Ryung and Clem opening up a little bit more aggressively here with faster factories into delayed expansions, delayed CCs from our Terran players, from both of our Terrans. And here we go, CCs now on the way from both Ryung and Clem. They're both going to be a little more assertive here with their Reapers. Clem being quite active himself, just looking and scouting around his bases, around his third bases, not committing to any kind of move out yet. He's not going to be committing, as we do have the starport on the way. So a straight up 1-1-1 opener here from Clem. Likewise, Ryung as well, just a couple seconds behind when it comes to his own build, but overall they are mirroring each other. Overall, we have mirrored builds. Reaper's going to be moving out. Again, a big shout out to Ryung. I want to say that Ryung had a webcam, but I guess something happened to it. Instead, we have his phone. Love to see it. Ooh, as Reapers, they do slip into the main base. We do get one, we get two SCVs. Good trades here from Clem. He doesn't just get two SCVs, he also gets a full scout of the main base, is fully aware of what is coming his way. And two Reapers for two SCVs. With that, Clem does take a worker lead. Back at home is getting a CC up and running on location, and Clem has that medevac on the way. Again, these openers have been very common to go for Cyclone drops. We've seen plenty of them already here in these TVTs, and we'll see more of them here, I'm sure, in the coming games. Just a very good way to be assertive and make use of your early game Cyclones, and to really flex your micro as well. With the Cyclone drop, of course, it isn't just the DPS of the Cyclones, but also the micro ability of the medevac. Here we go. That's what we do see. Yeah, our job going to be moving out, just waiting for that second Cyclone to arrive before pushing. Likewise, both players are working towards their own Raven production. What's interesting is that Ryung did end up skipping the medevac, so he is going to be going for a faster Raven instead, and that also means that his Cyclones are chilling back at home, waiting for the aggression of Clem. Raven is going to get eyes on this ahead of time. Does spot that medevac. As Cyclones are repositioning, and we should be able to boost away. Yeah, Clem, again, holding on to that boost, using it to evacuate. Does manage to escape here, and oh, Ryung does have to pull back with that SCV. Clem going straight for a third CC, so is Ryung. Both players working on their third bases. Again, Hecate is a bit of a wider map and a little bit difficult to be aggressive on just because of all the points of elevation. So we do see Ryung just stabilizing here on 2 bases. Clem threatening a drop into the main or forcing a big overreaction. The fake drop is real. The fake drop does a lot of damage, is what I should say. As the Cyclones will be engaging. Oh, Ryung coming out on top though. Yeah, better trade for Ryung. Does shut Clem down. But Clem was also able to deal quite a bit of economic damage with the empty medevac. So a bit of a give and take. Clem having a slightly better economy, Ryung having the slightly better army. As both players back off, and both players are going to be getting into bio play. We did see Maru try to flex mech quite a bit. We saw him succeed with mech against Cure. We saw him attempt and fail at mech against Clem. And I'm curious if Ryung is willing to whip that out at some point in this series. For now, in game 1, it's bio tank. No second factory, no third factory, or anything like that. But here we go. We do see Ryung going for the dive into the natural. Auto turrets are thrown down. And Ryung, he's working his way through. The boys, they have to be pulled. Clem down to 2 Cyclones. SCVs are falling. And Ryung, he can try to force the issue here. Oh, can he get a couple more SCVs? He wants them, but he just barely doesn't have enough. Again, given a couple of extra Cyclones, and we would have been able to break through. Regardless, a good amount of counter damage. Good amount of counter damage is dealt. Tank has arrived. Clem is stabilizing on his 2 bases. Meanwhile, Ryung is soon looking to expand. So he's going to expand, looking to take that other base. You see Clem in position, forcing back Ryung, and will establish his third as Ryung is taking his own. As the dust does settle, Ryung does have a slight economic lead, only slight though. Again, both players working towards very similar army compositions. It's going to come down to positional play. Going to come down to what Ryung is known for. But is it enough to overcome Clem? Is it going to be enough? For now, it looks like we have Cyclones on the right-hand side. We have a double drop moving towards the left. I'm loving the spotter turret here from Clem. Oh, the army has been spotted, though. Clem pushing right through the center. Meanwhile, Ryung committing to his drop. Wants to hit the third base. Likewise, Clem also going for the third base of Ryung. Ryung, is he in position? Has a couple of tanks. Spotter SCV does get eyes on the army. Oh, the Marines, they do get into the mineral line. There's nothing here. SCVs are going to be going down. Get 7 SCVs in total. Meanwhile, at the same time, Clem is going to be committing. The Ravens. The Ravens, they do have disables. And the Ravens are going to be targeted down, but they get 1 disable off. Yeah, the boys are going to be pulled. Third base is going to be evacuated. We do get a lot of DPS, but the third base is saved. Ryung going to be able to preserve his workers. Meanwhile, across the map, he was able to achieve quite a lot with his own double drop. Both players are hurting, but I want to say that Ryung is ahead here. Ryung, he does come out a little bit better. Meanwhile, Clem retaking his third base at the linear location instead. Taking his own third. The turret! Takes down a medevac. Oh my god, almost takes down another as well. As it barely does survive. Again, really good positioning here from Clem. Yeah, there's going to be another turret as well. Meanwhile, Ryung expanding elsewhere. Still has a worker lead. Both players working on 2-2. Ryung pushing right through the center. He's still looking for that third base. Does confirm that it's not at the triangular location. Drops into the main. Could maybe get a depot. And Ryung pushing through the middle. Does scan. Does see the army. The tanks. Ooh, tanks on the right-hand side. Big volley's going to be going off. Ryung, he dives on forward. He gets a tank. Almost gets the Marines. Big anti-armor missile. The medevac drop gets shot. Oh, we do see Ryung once again trying to wedge his way into that base, into the natural, but there's another tank in position. Ryung, he cannot break through. Does have to pull back. Reinforcements are on the way. Clem, he's going for it. We'll be losing a tank. We'll be losing one of his tanks. A second tank goes down as well. Ryung, he does break in. And it looks like he has enough. Pushing towards that natural base. Another tank in the back line does hold on barely for Clem. Ryung, he wants more though. He wants that final tank, and he should get it. Yeah, the repairs are not good enough. Ryung breaking on through, snowballing out of control. He has broken the third base. And we are making a trend out of this. The last time they faced off, Ryung did take down Clem 2-0, and the streak continues as the third base has been shut down. I'm telling you, it's not Maru that Clem should be worried about. It is Ryung, the Tuna Terran. Doesn't get a kill in the CC, but he does get 21 SCVs. Clem contained to 2 bases. He's going to be able to hold on. He does have 2 tanks. Does have 2 tanks in position. Does have a couple of Marines as well. Yeah, as Ryung, he's just containing his opponent. Ryung taking a 4th CC behind this. 4th CC is on the way. Ryung just rallying everything across the map. A solid concave here outside of the natural. Again, this is the win condition of Ryung. He doesn't have to break the natural. He just has to contain. Ooh, but Clem, he sneaks out. Oh, we're pushing in. As Clem evacuates, we push into the tanks, and we have broken the natural. GG gets called, and Ryung, he does it again. He takes game 1 against Clem. GG. Ryung, the Clem slit. True. There's something about these onside players. Remember, last season, it was Solar. Solar was the Serral slate. Serral was on fire last season in WTL Summer. And onside Solar was the answer, was the key, was the answer to bringing Serral down. And here in the winter season, is it Ryung? Is it Ryung's time to shine here against Clem? GG. GG, well played. That was merely game 1. Clem, he can bounce back. Don't get me wrong. He can bounce back in game number 2. He can fight back. He can make, he can tie things up 1-1 and force revives. But there's something about Ryung's TVT. Again, this is his best matchup. I've said this for many years. I continue to echo this. Ryung is a TVT sniper. Doesn't matter who you give him. It could be the best Terran player in the world. Ryung can still kill you. Whether it's Clem, even Maru, even Cure, even Byeon, even Gumiho, Ryung can take them all down. This is where he thrives. And can he pull off a 2-0? He did it before. Can he do it again? That would be crazy. I'm still, just like last time, I'm like, this coming into this, I'm like, it's gonna be a 1-1. Like that's what I expected coming into this. It's gonna be a 1-1. I still expect that, but can Ryung pull off a 2-0? That would be wild. That would be crazy. We'll see. We shall see. Oh, here we go. Oh, I see Senor Dash in the chat. Vámonos, papi, vámonos. Here we go, as again, a Team Liquid gonna have to take a moment here to recover. It looks like we're having a bit of a team meeting. We're having a bit of, and I think this is good because I don't know if you saw Clem, he had a pretty big reaction to that loss. Like he was very frustrated with that loss. So I think it's very important here for his team to come in and support him and talk him through it as well. Be like, mate, you know, it's all good. You know, you can afford to lose the map here or there. Like you already 2-0'd Maru. You already did amazingly. All you need to do is take a game off of Ryung. And even if you don't, we still have a revive. We still have a revive available. That's still going to be available here, where we can bring out yourself or even Cure. You know, not everything is on your shoulders. You know, even Cure can come out if need be. Like there's still room here. Like there's not everything is on the line. So again, hopefully his team can be there for Clem and make sure that we're okay. Like you can see Clem's he's not happy. He's not happy about that game. And you know, hopefully we can shake it off and ease into this and make a series out of it. Again, it's been a long day. It's been a long day for Clem. He's already achieved so much. He's already done so much. Fatigue can set in. And hopefully we can take a breather. Hopefully we can take a breather here. I want the Maru revive. Here we go. As it looks like we have our second map of choice, it's going to be Hard Lead. Hard Lead is up next. Vamonos. And this is where Clem is looking to bounce back, where Clem is looking to fight back here against Ryung. Again, when it comes to Ryung's strengths and weaknesses, I do think that it's his macro and his positional play that is superior, or that he relies on. It's what his strengths are. When it comes to speed, that's where Clem can really come in. And, you know, if we maybe go for a more aggressive style, maybe go for some multi-pronged aggression, or even a bit of a proxy in the early game, we'll see. We shall see. As in the bottom right-hand corner, we have our Tuna Terran. The blue Terran player for onside, it is Ryung. And in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the reigning ESL Masters champion. It is Clem for Team Liquid. Here we go. Oh. As we are settling into this. Settling into our next game. Again, Clem, he has taken down so many big names tonight. He 2-0'd Maru, he 2-0'd Serral, he took down Rainer as well, 2-0. Like, Clem, he has done so well for himself. But now it comes down to the TVT. Comes down to Ryung. Now, if we get a 1-1, if Clem does win this game, then we force revives from both teams. Both teams will have to revive. If Ryung wins here, then it's going to be on Team Liquid to revive a player instead, and only Team Liquid. So this will not be, regardless of how this goes, it will not be the end of the series. There is still more ahead of us. Still more to come. Here we go. We go. As for now, we do have our openers underway. It's going to be double. Oh, interesting. Okay, it's going to be double gas from Clem. Meanwhile, Ryung is going for an economic opener. Let's go. A hidden one at that. So Ryung, he fully walls off, and as we can see, he only took a single gas. Only one gas was taken, and Ryung is going for a Rax into expansion, a hidden expansion in the main. So a very economic opener. Meanwhile, Clem is going for a safe opener, going for double gas into a factory. So Ryung will have the economic lead here in the early game. And Clem should be going for a CC on the low ground in a couple of moments. So really interesting openers so far. Both players do deviate and go in different directions. Now, with this opener of Clem, he will have faster Cyclone production. There we go. First Cyclone is on the way. So he will have a bit of a Cyclone lead and a bit of a power spike early on, which he can make use of. He can use that to his advantage to try to catch Ryung off guard. But I'm sure Ryung is aware of that, and he's going to be playing defensively himself, and will be taking more of a, again, a defensive stance here. There we go. Cyclones are on the way. They are going to be on the way. So Reapers are just going to be amassing here for Clem. Remember, Clem does have the army lead, which means he has potential to deal some damage. He does have that potential. Clem is moving out. Looks like the first Cyclone is about to pop for Ryung. Meanwhile, Clem, he goes for the add-on swap, and he has a Reactor to Factory well underway here. Oh, as it looks like we have a bit of an issue, and we are going to be asking for a pause. Hopefully everything is okay, but it looks like we're experiencing a little bit of latency here, and you know, it is an online event. You know, things like this do occur from time to time. But hopefully it does resolve. You know, we're more than willing to just wait for a moment here. And usually, you know, there's like a lag spike and it just settles down after a couple of seconds. And once it does settle, then we can get this underway. We can get back into the game. Also, thankfully, when it comes to this lag, when it comes to this latency, it's happening when there's nothing important happening, right? There's no like big fight. There's no micro battle. There's no big moment here. Thankfully, it's in the early game when we're kind of getting into our builds and getting into our openers. So thankfully, the latency isn't going to be affecting any kind of major part of the game. So we're just going to be waiting here, waiting for it to resolve and clear up. We are waiting for it. As here we go. Looks like the latency has cleared up and we are getting back into this. And again, if it ever does pop up again, we can always pause for a second time. Ooh, Ryung going straight into his third CC. Very greedy. Going Rax Expand into a third CC as well. Can Ryung get away with this, or will he be punished? Because Clem is amassing Cyclones. He's amassing Cyclones, and Ryung hasn't seen this coming, by the way. He is not in position. Ryung, he may just fall here and now. Here we go, Clem pushing towards that natural. Ryung bringing everything together. The boys have to be pulled away. 2 SCVs do go down. Good damage so far by Clem. There we go. Ryung, he consolidates his army. Does have the Raven. Does have that auto turret available. Does get a lock on. Does take down one of those Cyclones. Big pickoff. A big pickoff from Ryung. He gets another Cyclone as well. Really good trades. Very good trades here from Ryung overall. And Clem is forced back. Clem still down in the worker count, but he goes for a drop into the main. He gets eyes on the third CC, and he will delay it. He throws down his own. A big moment here for Clem. 6 SCVs. And delays the third. Now, the first push was lackluster, but this drop is getting out of control here, and we're coming back in. Clem, he's coming back in with his reinforcements. Raven gets targeted down. It will survive. Ryung, he has to bring everything together. Has to be very careful with how he controls those Ravens. Speaking of, he's forced to pull the boys. He will shut this down, but he has lost so much. Another 4 SCVs go down. Clem with a 6-worker lead. And again, he's catching up with the CC. It's actually, yeah, on the way. Well underway. Ryung's is, of course, a little bit faster, but Clem's should have been even later than this. It should have been further behind. Clem is catching up. It's catching up behind this Cyclone production. Continuing, of course, for both players, for both Clem and Ryung. Clem committing into bioplay with that stim. Ryung still... There we go. I was like, I'm still waiting to see the tech of choice for Ryung, but there it is. Stim is on the way. It's going to be biotank from both players. We are not dabbling into mech. Not this time. No mech in sight. We do have Clem once again going for that drop into the main. We saw how successful it was before, and we're looking to do it again 2 times in a row. And again, I do love this from Clem, just because, again, he's relying on his speed, right? His multitasking. His ability to pull his opponent apart. Can work well here. Meanwhile, Ryung is moving out. Has a lot of Ravens available. Drop going to be threatening the main base. Clem pushing out. Clem does get some lock-ons first. Ooh, and Ryung bleeds out 2 of those Cyclones. He loses a 3rd Cyclone. Ryung losing a lot of momentum. And with that, he has to retreat. Ryung, he cannot touch the 3rd base. And honestly, Ryung's in a lot of trouble. He's been losing a lot of workers. He just lost a big chunk of Cyclones. Ryung doesn't really have any momentum. Not anymore. He's in a really rough position here. Oh, the lock-on gets broken. And Clem, he's just having his way here. He's having his way with the mineral line. Oh my god, as he even saves the Cyclones as well. 4 SCV kills, saves the Cyclones, and Ryung is out of position. This 3rd base is going to be going down, and we are just pulling Ryung apart. Can we get a kill? No shot. The CC! The orbital is going to be going down. Big pick off. And yeah, this is just getting out of control at this point. We go back into the main base. 5 more SCVs go down. We save the Cyclones again. And Clem is popping off. He may have struggled in game 1, but he is finally going to be getting his revenge. After his opponent had a bit of a win streak over him. Nah, we're upset. We're angry. We're fighting back. Now Clem, he's up in workers. He's up in army. He's up in every aspect of this game. And in a mirror matchup, it's difficult to come back from this. Not impossible, but difficult. We have to rely on drop play. We have to rely on outpositioning our opponents, maybe a base trade even. There are specific scenarios that you can kind of will to fruition here or can take advantage of, but they are few and far between. And as long as Clem plays safe from here, mate, we're running away with this. And we will be tying things up. As long as there are no big mistakes. And you're like getting caught unsieged or having your Doom Drop being caught or something along those lines. You catch a Cyclone. Big anti-armor missile. Big anti-armor missile, but again, it's still not going to be enough. Another drop into the natural is deflected. Ryung is able to keep up this time. But Clemmy drops into the main. More SCVs going down. We get 4. We get 5. We get 6. And the Cyclones, they survive. And here comes Clem. Here comes Clem. His main army pushing right through the middle. The tanks are unsieged. No shot. The tanks, they get caught unsieged. Clem pushes on forward. Big disable as well. The final tank does fall. Another disable on the third tank. And Clem, he just has far too much. GG gets called. And Clem does tie it up 1-1. And both Ryung and Clem knock each other out. GG. GG, well played. It will not be a 2-0. Not this time. Not again. Clem says no. And with that, this is going to be a very interesting decision. We have some revives. Both Team Liquid and Onside, they both have lost their rosters, and we can revive a player each. Who do we revive? That is the question. Who do we revive? Team Liquid have been very reliant on Clem this weekend, and Clem would make the most sense unless Cure feels more in form in TVT. Based on what we've seen so far, based on Maru 2-0ing Cure, I think Clem has to be the answer. I think Clem has to be the answer for Team Liquid. Watching Cure versus Maru earlier, I'm not filled with confidence in Cure today. I don't think that's... I don't know how well that will go, so we'll see. We'll see. I mean, maybe Cure thinks different. Maybe they have a talk, and maybe Cure's like, yeah, I slipped up against Maru. I made mistakes, but I know that I can fight back. I know that I can perform better. Bring me out. Possible. It is possible. Meanwhile, when it comes to Onside, it's curious as well, because on the one hand, Maru's obviously a really strong player, and he's the ace player of Onside. I mean, he kind of is. I know that for the summer season, Solar was dubbed the ace player, and Maru even admitted that. They all agreed that Solar was the ace player of the team, just because Solar was the answer to Serral in last season's WGL. And I bring Solar up just because we didn't really get to see much of him. Remember, Solar, he got knocked out early on by a cheese, a laser. He 12 drone pulled Solar and knocked him out at the very start of the series. So Solar may want some revenge. In saying that, when it comes to ZVT, I think Solar is favored against Cure in ZVT. I don't think he's favored against Clem. That's the problem here. When it comes to matchups specifically, when it comes to the strength of these players, I think if Onside believes that Clem is coming out as a revived player, I think you have to send out a Terran. I think you have to send out Maru. I mean, I know Ryung so far is the only player on Onside that has taken a game off of Clem. That is true, but I feel like Maru should be the answer. But we'll see. We'll see who gets revived. If you're in the chat, let us know what you think. Do we see Ryung, Maru, or Solar? Likewise, do we see Cure, a laser, or Clem? Who comes back? Who comes back? Gibbs. Here we go. No shot Liquid sent anyone but Clem. Yeah, I'm assuming it's got to be Clem. I'm assuming. Clem looks upset. Yeah, I mean he was very frustrated after that last game. Very frustrated. After game 1, I should say. Does anyone believe in a more crazy pick here? Does anyone want a wild guess? Does anyone want to just double? Oh, we just got Solar just joined the call. Solar did just join the call. What does that mean? I'm sure they're discussing amongst themselves. I'm sure they're discussing, who do we feel can bring down Clem? Because remember, Maru did get 2-0'd. Maru did get 2-0'd by Clem. So if Maru's like, I can't, if he feels like he can't bring Clem down, if Solar feels more confident, then that would be a Solar pick. So I do think a lot of this comes down to their confidence. Comes down to both Maru and Solar's thoughts on who has a better chance against Clem. I mean, I'm of the opinion that it's going to be Maru, but we'll see what they think. We'll see what they decide. It is a tough decision to make. It is a tough position to be in. They could even be thinking further ahead. Now, this revived match, if this revived match, it's a best of 2. If it goes 1-1, then we get a Super Ace match. Then the Super Ace match comes out. Then we revive again, and you can't revive a revived player. So they could be thinking of that. Ooh, Clem, maybe getting some rest, getting some water. Clem is suspiciously absent from the cans, but he might just be like going for a bathroom break. It's like, I'm sure he'll be back, Poppy. He'll be back. A laser versus solar rematch. Yes, Einstein. Exactly. I like it. I like where your head is at, Einstein. I like where your head's at. It's good. It's good. Give us the rematch. Give us the ace match between a laser and solar. That's what I want. True. We're just memeing? No. It's like, commit. No memes, Poppy. No memes. We shall see. We shall see. Again, it looks like our teams, they need a little bit of time here to prepare, to settle in. In this time, again, I hope everyone's been enjoying themselves. I do apologize for the stream cutting earlier. The stream did go down previously. But I hope you've all been enjoying yourselves nonetheless. It's been a great broadcast. Really good matches here so far. Really good matches between these two teams, or between all the teams, really, in the WTL playoffs. It's been great. It's been 1/2 hours. Can we make it all the way to 9 again? 9 hours, Poppy. Maybe. If we get some really late games, then we can get there. We can get there. Oh. As yeah, from here, I guess we're gonna be going on a short break. I don't know how much time we need, but we're gonna be going on a short break. Ooh, take this moment to hydrate, stretch your versions, massage your marines, and we will soon be back with our next matchup here with our deciding players. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Dropship Magic. Thank you for all that you do for the community. I never miss an opportunity to tune into the stream. Love your style. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm glad that you like our casting here on the CranKy Ducklings. Thank you. We've been putting in a lot of hours, and there are times where I'm running out of energy, and I need some help. You know, shout out to Yaku. Yaku joined me the other day. I was supposed to have Asher here today, but fun fact for those of you that are in the chats, Asher, I believe it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Asher. I believe he's out on the town getting wasted. But it is Asher's birthday. It is 4 a.m. So it's been his birthday for a couple hours. You know what? I need to message him. I need to message my boy. Happy birthday. So Asher's birthday is the 8th of January. I'm doxing him right now. Happy birthday, Asher. So that's why he's not here. I was supposed to get Asher involved in today's broadcast, but it's his birthday, so he's the birthday boy. He gets a day off. It's fine. Happy birthday to Rufus's slave. True. Yes, the Asher. But yeah, we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we'll have our deciding players. We'll see you guys soon. Enjoy. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. We have our revived players and no shot. Mate, do we really have that much faith on side? They're putting it all here on the Tuna Terra. Nobody believed, by the way, nobody believed in the Ryung pick. But mate, Ryung, he's the only player that has taken down Clem. He 2-0'd Clem a couple of weeks ago. Clearly, Ryung is the answer to the Clem problem. Clearly, he is the one to bring him down. This is crazy. Ryung versus Clem. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. I mean, again, Ryung, he is the TVT sniper. He arguably has a better TVT than Maru, and clearly, Maru agrees. Clearly, Maru does agree that Ryung has a better TVT, but here we go. We're getting into this. We're diving on in.
Onside versus Team Liquid. Game 6. Let's start the game.
And here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Ore. We have a wild revive here. It is the Korean Terran player, the Tuna Terran, 4 on side. It is Ryung. And in the top left-hand corner, we have the French Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. The grudge match continues here again. Ryung is a TVT sniper. It is his best matchup, and he has some world-renowned TVT, don't get us wrong. But I'm still shocked that we still went for the revive on Ryung. I mean, again, as we mentioned before, I'm sure the players had a big discussion, and it all comes down to, right, how confident we are, right? It's like if Maru, he got 2-0'd earlier. He got 2-0'd by Clem earlier. Ryung is the only player that has taken a map off of Clem so far tonight, or so far in this Team League match. So they've come to a conclusion. They've come to a solution. Ryung clearly is the best pick. Is he, though? Can he pull this off? Now, I like the idea of us thinking further ahead. If this is a 1-1, honestly, all Ryung has to do is win a game. All Ryung has to win a game, and then we force the Super Ace match. If this is a 1-1 score, we force the Super Ace match, and then you can see Maru or Solar come out against Cure. And I think that's ideal for onside. I feel like Maru and Solar, they're so much more confident against a player like Cure. Not saying that Cure is bad, but like it's Clem who's terrifying and who has no fear. I mean, the Tuna Terran. Ryung, the Dong one has arrived. The one true Dong is here, and I'm ready for it. Show us what you got. Now we're loading into Golden Ore. And of course, this is a short rush distance by ground, a very small map, very congested, but the bases are very compact. Very compact bases here. We have seen a lot of split map scenarios here on Golden Ore. I'm assuming, as we're going for an economic opener, or we're going for, double gas into factory, into CC. But I'm assuming that Ryung is looking to get into the mid game. I'm assuming that what really killed Ryung in that previous series was just the multi-rank aggression, the just constant harassment from Clem. And I'm assuming that Ryung is going to be aware of that, is going to be wary of that, is going to take a more defensive stance. But we'll see. We'll see how Ryung adapts. We'll see what Clem brings to the table. Double Reaper does arrive, and we will delay the CC. Already a good start for Clem. CC is delayed. A big reason for this, Ryung only made one Reaper, then into reactored Cyclones. So because of that, he couldn't do anything about the first couple of Reapers, but he will have a power spike. He has 2 Cyclones, he will soon have 4. Remember, short rush distance by ground. I believe Ryung is going to be pushing with 4 Cyclones. We'll see. We'll see how aggressive he wants to be. We'll see how assertive he is. As Ryung will have a Cyclone advantage. Again, it is a little bit risky to go for the early reactor like this. But there is going to be a power spike for Ryung. And there it is. The next wave of Cyclones have arrived. We have 4 Cyclones and we're pushing. We're pushing with 4 Cyclones. As we move out, ooh, we are spotted. Big scout here from Clem. He will bleed out one of his one of his Reapers, but Clem is aware of the army. No fear, he goes for the drop. Now, I'm sure he's hoping that Ryung pushes out, Clem drops, and then we cause some chaos and we kill some workers. Clem pulls back, Ryung pulls back. Both players back off. They're expecting aggression, and as a result, they're both just calming things down. There we go. We see Clem reinforcing, consolidating his army with that medevac with additional Cyclones. And yeah, he's expecting Ryung to arrive. He's waiting for Ryung. Ryung is also waiting for Clem, and there we go. Now we're going for the drop. Enough time has passed. We're pushing. You can see Ryung in position with his Raven just to get an eye on any kind of drop play. Give him a little bit of a heads up. Cyclone production is continuing. Ooh, and Clem goes straight for the 3rd CC. So Clem, being very greedy, rushing into the 3rd. So far, Ryung still continuing Cyclone production. Oh, he's going to be pushing. This is a bad moment to push here because here comes the drop. Ryung, is there anything in the main? Is there anything in the main base? He's taking his 3rd CC on location. The drop comes in. We catch a Raven. Ooh, big pick off. Raven goes down. Ryung is pushing, by the way. He's not turning back around. And can he pull this off? As we have the high ground. Clem, he's in position. Clem going to be pulling back. Pulling out of that main. Ryung pushing up the ramp. Clem, he knows that an army is about to rock up. He knows that there's something waiting for him. So wise move here out of Clem. He does pull back to the safety of his natural. Does pull back. Whew. And overall, Clem is in a slightly better position. Remember, he did kill that Raven. Lack of Raven is huge. We can see Ryung getting in position. He's looking to try to catch that medevac. He wants it, Papi. Medevac has been spotted. And we're going to settle from here. So Clem did have a faster 3rd CC, but Ryung's 3rd was on location. So technically, Ryung will get his 3rd up and running a little bit faster. Tank production is commencing. It is going to be bio tank from Ryung, bio tank from Clem. Similar army compositions. Remember, Clem does have a Raven lead. Drop is going to be getting out. Ryung in position will force the lift. Army soon to be clashing. Ryung has to be careful. Trading 1 for 1. Order turrets are thrown down. Again, Clem, he has the order advantage. But Ryung, he has a positional play. He does force back the army. He did have the high ground. Oh, Clem actually holding onto order turrets. Okay, I was curious. I was like, we were up a Raven. You can see that Clem, he held onto a lot of energy. Didn't throw down the turrets. Will back off. Ryung was able to take a slightly better trade there. Better trade from Ryung. You see that Clem did lose a Raven and a medevac. And with that, we are going to be settling on in. Ryung, opponent taking the better fight. He establishes his 3rd base. Ryung has a slight worker lead. Very slight, though. Ooh, as Reaper comes across another SCV. Good pick up from Ryung. Very nice pick off. Clem continuing his drop play, though, going for a Cyclone drop towards the natural. We have turrets covering the main, but no turrets covering the natural. There's potential for Clem. Ah, there's another turret, though. I love these spotter turrets that Clem does this as well. On the edge of the 3rd. It looks like the turret will not finish. The Cyclones will deal with it. Turret is dealt with. Clem going to be pulling back. Ryung on the hunt. looking for that drop. He may be able to come across it, by the way. Uh-oh. Clem does pull. He does boost away. Does boost the hell out of there. From here, we have 4 CCs in production. The 4th command center, I should say. Clem pushing right through the center. Ryung does have the sensor tower. He does see the army. He is repositioning. We have 4 tanks here for Clem. Sensor tower goes down. Ryung, he comes in for a massive counterattack. He does get 4 workers. Can he get the base? Cyclones from behind. Clem trying to collapse on this position. Ryung trying to collapse on this position. Clem in a really difficult position here. He's getting surrounded. Big disables though. He goes straight for the 3rd base as well. Both players will be losing control of their 3rds. Tanks are sieging. Ryung, he gets 9 SCVs. Clem also gets 9 or 8. The Cyclones are shut down. Again, still very close between our players. The tanks are on siege! And Ryung, he goes for the dive. He doesn't pull it off though. A massive overextension there. Ryung losing 19 SCVs, and that may just be it, actually. When I say that, Ryung still pretty close to the worker count of his opponent. How far ahead was he? Jesus. Ryung lost 19 workers and still only behind by 6. My god. But again, Ryung, he just wasn't able to commit to that fight. Lost a little bit too much there in the dive. Unnecessarily lost all those workers. And now, Clem is in a better position. He is in a better position here. Things go very chaotic. This is very necessary. We do get into the mineral line. 1 SCV goes down. Some lost mine time. Very necessary here for Ryung. Did need to fight back. And the dust is going to settle. Ryung pulling back in time. Clem pushing forward. Again, that was a very tense moment here for both players. We got our scan, and Clem, he sees the army. Ryung, he hasn't scanned. There we go. He's going to be the first to siege. Big disables. Big disables here on these tanks. Yeah, Clem with a massive tank lead. He's breaking through. Fighting outside of tank range, so Ryung is going to be able to take a fight, but still forced back. Yeah, Clem, he's snowballing out of control. He has a massive tank advantage. And Ryung just cannot do anything about it. He lost so many tanks earlier. And this 3rd base is going to be denied. We can see Ryung going for a massive counterattack. And Clem, he's ready for it. So you can see Clem is positioning his own army. He's ready for the all-in. He's not going to be caught off guard. SCVs are going to be going down. The 3rd CC as well. Ryung committing across the map. But he runs into a wall of tanks, and Clem is all over this. Clem shutting down the 3rd base, protecting his own, and now Ryung, he's in a world of hurt. He's in a world of hurt here. There was a lot of potential earlier. Things got very chaotic. Ryung almost pulled it off, but alas, did fumble the ball. Now Clem is going to be pushing. Get a massive tank lead. Wedging himself in between the bases, pushing towards the natural. And Ryung cannot stop him. He's got a couple of liberators. Libs can help. They can buy some time. That's the best we can hope for. As we slow down the siege here of Clem, more reinforcements are on the way. And it doesn't take long at all to go for a counterattack on Golden Aura. We can see Ryung trying to catch some reinforcements. He gets caught out. There we go. We go for a massive siege. Ryung cannot dive. Clem going to be pushing on forward. Catching the army. Sieging up his tanks. Ryung, he's zoned away from his own planetary. And the tanks, they get within range. That big tank shot's going to be going off. Ryung, can he fight back from here? I mean, with his liberators, he can maybe try to pull this off. He does have the high ground. Big tank volleys. You can see Ryung, he's attempting to stabilize. He's recovering. Again, some big shots. He got 4 tanks. Good trade. A good fight for Ryung. Oh, can he catch a tank? Up! He gets 1. Just get 1 more tank. Ryung, Clem is slipping up a little bit here, making a couple too many mistakes. He does have a fit though. He's up in economy, up 20 workers. Big anti-armor missile, and Ryung, he can't take this fight. He's forced into it. The tanks, they siege. Ryung going for the dive, trying to dive on top of this. Wu takes down some of the tanks. That was a costly trade for Ryung. Yeah, losing a little bit too much here. Medevac falls as well. Ryung losing his entire bio army. Liberator does get some damage across the map. We get 7 SCV kills. Ryung, he's fighting back, but he plummets in supply. He was so close to maxing out as well. He was so close to keeping up with Clem. But because Clem has a better economy, he's able to remax. He's able to remax, rebuild that much faster. Ooh, big tank shot's going to be going off. Clem is forced back. Ryung has control of the Zonaga, does see the medevacs, is aware. Can Ryung pull off a miracle here? He has a comparable army. Oh, he may just go for a base trade. Like, the base trade may be the only way at this point. Yeah, Ryung, he's sending it across the map. It's all or nothing here. Does Clem have anything at home as he collapses on the 3rd base and the 4th as well? Vikings will be landing at the same time. Ryung pushing across the map. Diving into the natural, but we have tanks on the high ground. There are tanks in the main base. Ryung does see, and he's just being slowed down. It's taking far too long to push into the main. At the same time, Clem pushing into the main base of Ryung. Ryung likewise has the high ground, but oh god, there's just so much working against him. He's barely holding onto the main. Barely trying to hear. More tanks going to be going down. I mean, Ryung, he's killing bases, don't get me wrong, but he's down to 1. He's down to 1 final CC. 0 economy, 0 income here for Ryung. He's taking down bases, but it's not going to be enough. And Clem is looking to take a lead in this series. As Clem tries to break out, taking a pretty rough fight. Ryung takes down another planetary. Can Ryung hold on here to his main? God, there are just so many tanks out. So many tanks available here for Clem. And Ryung going for the dive, pulling the boys as well, but it's not going to be enough. And with that, Clem, he deals with the final army here of Ryung. Ryung can maybe shut down the planetary. He actually will. Planetary does fall, but GG gets called. It's not going to be enough, and Clem will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Clem does take the first game, and now the best that Onside can hope for is for Ryung to take game 2. If Ryung can take game number 2, we can force the Super Ace match. We can force the second revive from our teams, and that is where Solar and Maru can come out against Cure. Can we make that happen? Can we make that dream a reality? Can Ryung take game 2? Clearly, his team believe in him. Solar and Maru, they believe in Ryung. And I mean, we've already seen him take a game. I have to believe as well. I believe he can take a game. He can take a series. But will he? That's the question. Up first, we need our map. We need our map pick here. Ryung, it's on him to decide where we do play this out. Where are we headed? Where are we going? Where will we play things out here in game number 2? Having a quick think about this, we just had our map on Golden Aura. Ryung, he can take this in a couple of different directions. If he wants a longer game, we could see Alkione. Alkione wouldn't be too bad, but oh, here we go. It's going to be Site Delta. Okay, interesting map pick. Very wide open. A very wide open map here. wide open bases, as well as the center of the map as well. Likewise, rush distance by ground is not as long as a map like Alkione or a map like Radisson Station, so you can be quite assertive here. I'm curious, very curious, what Ryung has in store for us. Show us the tuna, Papi. Show us the tuna. Can we go the distance? I want to believe. I want to believe, Papi. Let's go. Let us go. I wonder what the elder XY thinks about this TVT. True. Let us know, XY. Old Clem. Let us know. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Side Delta. We have our blue Terran player representing on side. It is Ryung. And in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Terran player from France representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. There. Here we go. Hello, Mr. SCV. Where we headed? As here we go. We have a Rax back at home here for Clem, but a very early SCV scout. Interesting. Clem, he does not trust his opponents. Remember, previously we saw a bit of a block. No, we're going for 2 Rax. We are going for a 2 Rax here. Okay, Clem looking to be the aggressor. So this is a less committed, obviously a less committed version of a proxy 2 Rax. It is going to be 1 Rax at home, 1 across the map. This is designed to be aggressive. Yes, you can snowball a little bit out of control, but this is much cleaner or easier to transition out of. Meanwhile, big shout out to the sponsors, Doyu, Honkai Star, Taidu, Autofool, and of course, the new sponsor, Andorra Cruises. Thank you. Big shout out to the sponsors to make this a reality, to make this happen. And here we go. Now for this Clem, he's going to have a power spike when it comes to 2 and then 3 Reapers. Ryung going for a Rax expand. Oh boy. This is best case scenario for Clem. Ryung is going for a very economic opener. He's going for a delayed factory, which means delayed Hellion, delayed Cyclone. Now, this is not a build order win, not by any means. You know, something like a proxy 2X would fare better here, but this is still ideal for Clem. As we do check for the proxy, Ryung, he checks, he looks, he doesn't see anything, he pulls back. But again, with this kind of opener, Clem can get a lot of damage done. We'll see if he will. And here we go. We have the SCV to tank the first shot. Reapers have revealed themselves. This bunker is not going to finish, and Clemmy takes control of the low ground. Bunker is on the way. And we will get a massive delay here on the CC. Boys are being pulled. Get a couple of hits in. Second Marine has arrived. Bunker is on the way. We have to deny it. We need to deny that bunker. We cannot allow it to get up and running. And it looks like Ryung, he has taken control of his own natural back from his opponent. We've taken control back here. We do force a cancel. Oh, that was a kill. Kill, not a cancel. SCV is going to be going down. Reaper as well. Ryung trying to stutter step himself forward here, but he's being picked apart. The Reapers, they take down every single Marine. The CC has finished, but the bunker will not. We force a cancel. Hellion has arrived, but we need support. We need Marines. We need SCVs. There we go. We get a big repair here. Ryung having a hard time here in the early game, but he will soon deal with this. They're just pointing out the dead bunker from earlier, which was a big loss, to be honest. That was a big blow to Clem. So this is becoming a little bit back and forth, but there we go. We now have a second Hellion. And with 2 Hellions there, big volleys go off. We shut down one of the Reapers, and we should shut down the rest. Yeah, good cleanup here from Ryung. 2 Reapers will escape, and Ryung can go back to mining. Now, oh my god, this is a late CC. Yeah, Clem, he's not really happy with that, especially with the dead bunker as well. Clem is forced out, looking a little bit upset. And the reality is, I didn't realize how late this CC is. Clem, it wasn't just a 2 Rax. He went 2 Rax into a factory before command center. This is a very late expansion from Clem. very late, and now it's going to be taken, but Ryung, he's recovering. He did lose some workers, but does have the economic lead. Oh, risky maneuver. Ryung, he's pushing out with the drop, but we have Cyclones. Oh, Cyclones, they have arrived. We get the lock-on the medevac. Good support here from Ryung. Does pull back. Does pull back in the end. Does pull back to the safety of his CC. Ryung taking a supply lead. Clem, yep, we have to recover. We have to do some drastic measures here to come back in this game because of how late the expansion is. Clem going for the third CC on location. Meanwhile, Ryung getting his own third CC not too far behind. It is on the way. It is going to be on the way here for Ryung. And honestly, Ryung, he's in a pretty good position. He's in a pretty good position at this point. But Clem, of course, can come back, can bounce back, specifically with drop play. Like, give Clem 2 Cyclones and a medevac, and this guy, he can pop off. He can he can have his way with you and just shut down any kind of economy. So even though Clem is behind, he can bounce back. Speaking of drop play, we're getting ready for it. We are getting ready. Additional Cyclone production underway. Stim, disables, interference matrix. So far, both players mirroring each other. Going for the same composition. No mech. None of the sort. Here we go. We have Ryung in position to deny any kind of drop into his main. Now, typically, Clem, he holds onto his boost. So, Clem should be okay. He scans. He's going to be drifting in towards the main, but again, he will have that boost to boost away and to save the medevac. Turret's going to be in production, making sure we shut down any kind of drop play here from Clem, at least in the main. It is a big investment, but considering again how drop heavy Clem can be, I do think this is probably worth it here for Ryung. Especially if he gets a kill on the medevac. Meanwhile, third CC is going to be landed on location. Clem already has his own third up and running, so Clem is recovering. He's recovering when it comes to the economy, when it comes to the worker count. Meanwhile, looks like Clem does have eyes on the would-be third. Medevac drop can go in at any moment. Ryung not quite in position for it. Yeah, here we go. Reaper dips in. Does get eyes on the mineral line. Oh, can we get one? Not quite. Cyclones have been revealed. Clem pushing right through the center is spotted. At the same time, drop into the main base. Turret does some damage, but we do manage to get into the mineral line. SCVs are going down. Ryung not in position. SCV damage is real. We do have Raven harass into the natural as well. Clem looking to pop off. We'll be losing a Raven though. But the auto turrets are thrown down. 5 SCVs fall. At the same time, Clem, his main army, pushing towards the third, but the tank is in position. Oh, we do get a Raven! Big pick off. Both players, they each lose a Raven. Ryung going back to mining. That Mandarak drop coming back in, and the turret was not rebuilt. There is no turret. Marines, they have to stim on forward. More damage being dealt. Ryung struggling here. Falling behind in the economy, but he's moving out with his main army. He has had enough. He's had enough defending. He wants to be the aggressor. He has that disable. He has interference matrix researched. He has been spotted. He has been spotted here by Clem. Likewise, Cyclones, they drop in once again. They get another 2 SCVs. And Ryung pulls back home. He was spotted. He pulls back. Knows that, of course, Clem is going to be in position. The drop play continues. And we do go for the stim. Oh! Urabas! Oh my god. The Medarak barely does survive. And we could end up in a base trade. Clem is pushing on the right-hand side. Ryung is pushing on the left. No, he turns around! Oh, Ryung turns around. He's in a rough position because Clem is going right for the natural. Yeah, Ryung, he cannot stop this. Ryung, he's out of position at this point. And Clem is forcing his way into the natural. And that's going to be a kill on the CC. CC is going to burn down. Ryung has a comparable army. Big disables. Big disables on the tanks. Ryung, he can clean this up. Yeah, he's stimming on forward, coming in with everything he has, and every single tank goes down. Clem loses his entire army. Clem may have killed the base. He may have killed 14 SCVs. The drop comes back in. But Ryung is pushing. Ryung is on a timer. He's all in. Ryung, he's completely all in. He doesn't have the economy to sustain himself. Not anymore. He's pushing across the map. And what does Clem have? Can Clem hold? Can he survive? Combat shield still on the way. Not going to help the fact that he doesn't have that. These Cyclones still going ham. Finally, they go down. We're going for the dive. There's one tank. Only one tank, and it's going to go down. Big pickoff. And Ryung, he may just have too much. He's stimming on 4. He shuts down the Marines, and he has done it. Ryung with the all-in comes out of left field here with the Marines. GG gets called, and Ryung does take down Clem once again. GG. GG, well played. We are forcing the Super Ace match. Again, his team had faith. Onside had faith that what was the answer for Clem? Who could bring Clem down? It's Ryung, the TVT sniper. He does it again. He does it again. And this means we have our Super Ace match. This means we have one final revive. Now, the way this works, both Team Liquid and Onside can revive one more player, but they cannot revive a revived player. This means that Team Liquid cannot revive Clem for a second time, and Onside cannot revive Ryung for a second time. Oh boy. On top of that, this is going to be a best of one. Not a best of two. One final game, a best of one to end it all. And I feel like it has to be Cure for Team Liquid. And Onside have the advantage of picking and choosing who to send out. Do we send out Solar or Maru to face off against Cure? Who's it going to be? Who is it going to be? They can both do well. Maru, earlier today, he 2-0'd Cure. If you weren't here for it, Maru, he 2-0'd Cure earlier in this series. Likewise, Solar also has damn good ZVT. I would not have favored Solar against Clem, but against Cure, it's possible. Björn is in the background. That's Björn. Björn, he's here. He's giving Maru some support. Take my risks. Take my risks, Papi. Take my energy. The Terran Cabal. They're coming together. Björn clearly showing his bias here, supporting Maru with his Terran energy. Let's go. Now that's the thing though. With Björn being Maru's cheerleader, does Maru come out? Does he come out as the Super Ace? I love that if you remember this, it was during I think it was the final week of the round robin stage. Björn was in Solar's apartment. Björn was in the background of Solar's apartment in the final round of WTL, giving him support. And now Björn is in Maru's apartment. Like Björn, he's just making the rounds. Next time we see him, he's gonna be in the background of Ryung's apartment. Björn, he's always where you need him most. He's always lurking in the background, supporting Onside from the shadows or from the light. Let's go. The ultimate supporter. He's always there for his boys. Always there. Björn is very social. But the pressure is on. It all comes down to one final game. One final game here between our players, between our teams. Let's go. Here we go. Next season, he'll show up next to Clem. The unexpected Björn appearance. Let's go. But this has gone the distance. It's gone down to the wire. Fun fact, one game. It all comes down to one final game here. One game to end it all. It will either be Maru or Solar for Onside, and it will either be a Laser or Cure for Team Liquid. It all comes down to one game. Also, I believe the map is going to be vetoed. Sorry, the vetoes for the final map will be standard. We're going to be vetoing our way towards one final game. No, sorry. Okay, yeah, we're vetoing. I was like, is there a predetermined map? There is not. There is no predetermined map. Straight up vetoes here for the best of one. Straight up vetoes. Oh boy. So who's it gonna be? Do we have any predictions in the chats? You know, I've seen some people say Maru. I've seen some people say Solar. Is there a wild Björn pick? Does Björn come out of left field with the steel chair? Does he like knock out Maru? He jumps into the chair, and Björn plays for onside. Is like the wild Björn appears. Oh my god! How will this go? Who comes out? Is this done double blind? Yes, it's done double blind. Basically, both teams announce their ace player to the admins. They do not tell each other. They tell the admins who is picked. The Maru Björn Archon. Let's go. We're going to have Björn controlling the mouse, and Maru's going to be controlling the keyboard. Let's go. Teamwork, Bobby. Teamwork. We go. Who's it gonna be? It feels like Maru's getting. Oh no, never mind. I was gonna say it feels like Maru's getting ready. Looks like he was getting ready to stand up. He was like, Maru steps away. Ryung steps away. Solar, the last one sitting. Is it Solar? Is it gonna be Solar coming out? Who feels confident? Who feels the most confident here against Cure? You see Clem a little bit distraught. Like he's had a really intense weekend. Like shout out to Clem. Regardless of who wins and who loses, Clem has been the MVP of the playoffs. 100%. Like he has been putting in so much work. He put his all out there. He put it all on the line. And now his fate is not in his hands. His fate is in the hands of his team. You know, that's the reality here. This is a team league match. It's a team league, not an individual league. It's not all about Clem. It's about the team. And we'll see. We'll see if Team Liquid can bring it all together here. Here we go. The ace map. We have vetoed Golden Aura. Golden Aura is going to be the ace map, and here it is. It is going to be the TVT between Maru and Cure. It all ends on Golden Aura. Let's go. Predictions will be open in the chat. Place your bets on who you think is going to win it all. Onside or Team Liquid, Maru or Cure, Terran or Terran. TVT, unwinnable. Unwinnable, Poppy. Let's go. Maru, of course, he is the star player of the round robin stage of WTL with the highest ELO, the highest MMR.
Versus Team Liquid. Ace. Let's start the game.
Let's start the game. Here we go. We're loading in. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have for onside the Korean Terran player, the blue Terran. It is Maru. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. This has indeed turned into WTL World Terran League. I mean, that's been the case for the entire playoffs, to be honest. Not just today, but the entire playoffs has been about not just the Terrans, but also the TVTs. It's been all about the TVTs, even with Bunny for Mystery Gaming and Björn for Shopify. Welcome to WTL TVT edition. Let's go. And shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to Doyu, Honkai Star, Taidu, and of course, not Rio de Janeiro, but shout out to Adora Cruises. Again, who's going to win that cruise to the Caribbean? Is that where they're going? I don't know. As the SCVs, they do pass by each other here, scouting each other across the map. So far, ooh, interesting openers. Okay, so quickly to go over this. Kira goes double gas. Kira has gone for a double gas opener. Maru is going for a rack expand economic opener out of Maru. He does hide the SCV, and there it is, CC on the low ground. Maru will be the defender. Kira will be the aggressor. Kira going for a faster factory, a delayed command center. Here we go. Vendetta and Eba are having a TVZ best of 17. Thought you should know. Is Eba playing Terran? And is Vendetta playing Zerg? Kappa. Shaking my head. Este Eba. We will most likely raid them, I'll be honest. If it's a best of 7